Welcome on in to a live Cleveland Browns report. Day 2 of NFL free agency is here. I'm sorry for the late start. We were about to get this plane off the ground, and then Shelby Harris re-signed. So I wanted to get a video out of that, so we're going to do that during our live, and I had to move some graphics over and whatnot. So apologies on my end, but appreciate everyone for joining us here on the Cleveland Browns report for day 2 of free agency, where the Browns have been busy so far. They have made a handful of signings, but the most recent, and I wouldn't say the most notable, but Shelby Harris coming back to the Browns on a 2-year, $9 million contract. I thought he played very well for Cleveland last year. He was a good part of that rotation, and I think the Browns are happy to bring back much of the 2023 defense, because why wouldn't you want to bring that back? It was a great defense last year. This is a spot where you just don't overthink it. Shelby Harris, Maurice Hurst, Jordan Elliott, all played well. Probably not going to bring all guys back. So I'm very happy to see Shelby Harris and Maurice Hurst returning to Cleveland. So shout out your city for me in the chat while we let the audience build up a little bit. And before we get in the meat and potatoes of all the free agent signings that have gone down so far for Cleveland, let me know where you are tuning in from. They also signed an offensive tackle, Akeem Adonijay, from the Cincinnati Bengals and then Minnesota Vikings. So we've got that signing to talk about. And then earlier today, Jameis Winston and Nyheim Hines, so a running back and a quarterback, coming over to the Browns. So a couple of signings going down today. Shout out your city for me, though, in the chat. I did see my best friend Jeremy Stallman's super chat roll in. So Jeremy, we'll throw that on screen for you in a little bit here. But I see Akron, Ohio, Alliance, Toledo, Greasy Flights in the house, Thunder Bay, Ontario, Levi's in Rock Creek. I've got Louisville, Ohio being represented. I've got Orlando, Florida. Mike Hall is in the chat right now. Freddie's in Cincinnati. Shiloh is in Ohio as well. Let's go. We also had some other big NFL news go down, like Patrick Queen going from the Ravens to the Steelers. That felt personal. That felt like Patrick Queen wanted to stick it to Baltimore. And what better place to do that than their biggest rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3-year, $41 million contract. I think it's a great signing for Pittsburgh. That's a franchise that loves their linebackers. They needed some help at that position. Patrick Queen, one of the best linebackers on the market, had a phenomenal 2023 season. Ravens hate it, so you know the Steelers fans love it that much more. Let's see. We got Brooklyn. I got Portland, Oregon. Paris, France. We're all over the globe right now. Can we get Mr. Jeremy Stallman, his super chat on screen? Jeremy, we saw your $2 super chat before we went live. We'll throw that on screen for you right now. Shelby Harris, good pickup. Let's go Browns. I like this signing a lot. We can actually throw Shelby Harris's stats from last season on screen for you guys. I thought Shelby Harris played very well. He was a guy that I identified for a long time in free agency as a player I wanted to see Cleveland pursue to really beef up and shore up that interior defensive line. 28 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks. Maybe my favorite stat, though, 5 pass breakups, and PFF ranked him 31st out of 130 qualifying defensive tackles. As Jeremy Stallman with a $50 super chat to kick off day 2 of free agency. Okay, Petey, we need to retain you for the Browns report. So here's a 50 spot so we can retain your services as our report. Am I getting traded? I feel like I'm getting traded, or at least
Are you a free agent?
Dude, there's no trade rumors around me. I'm a little confused right now.
Browns report rumors are hot.
Are there chat sports rumors about me being traded?
Matthew Peterson could be on the move. You know.
Jeremy, I really appreciate you, and I love the super chat. I appreciate the kind words. I am happy and very confident to say I'm not going anywhere. I have no plans to go anywhere, and I sure hope I'm not being traded. That would be a very, very sad day for me. On the Tennessee chat, the Titans channel? There's definitely no PD to the Titans channel rumors. No. I did used to help with the Titans channel back like 2 years ago. but our guy Jace Andrews, he takes care of that channel for us. So it would be news to Jace as well that he'll talk about Jace Andrews replacements right there.
Yes.
Me coming in number 1. Jeremy, thank you so much for the super chat, dude. I also emailed you. At least I'm pretty sure I emailed you. Please do check your email because you won the super chat giveaway from the end of February. And I haven't heard back yet, so please do check your email. I want to get you your autographed Nick Chubb helmet. Scorpion, what's going on, my man? Petey, those other bums on the actual Chat Sports channel blow. I really appreciate it. The bums are my friends. I do like the bums, some more than others, but they are all good people. I jest, I joke. But hey, I really do appreciate the kind words. I had a blast being on our main coverage for first day of NFL free agency. We're kind of rotating people in and out, so I'm mostly off today. And like Jack Sperry and Tyler Jones, they kicked off free agency for us on day 2, and then I'll probably go back tomorrow. But Scorpion, I do love when I see familiar names and faces in the chat of our live coverage on the main channel here at Chat Sports. It just feels like a little part of me is with the live channel because there's all 32 fan bases being represented. You know what it kind of feels like? It's when there's like the Olympic opening ceremonies and it's like Jamaica with like the 10 athletes. You know what I mean? But they've got that one little crowd of people cheering them on.
Hell yeah.
I felt like that. Or better yet, when a FCS school goes and plays an FBS school and they score a touchdown and make it 35-7, and they're like 3 rows are cheering.
Going nuts.
Yes, that's what I feel like when I'm like, I know that guy. That's Scorpion. What's going on, dude? Okay. Who do you want the Browns to sign next? They have signed Jameis Winston. We can actually run through all the signings they have made so far in free agency. There are some notable free agents out there. We'll look at their names after we look at who the Browns have signed already. But here are the Browns signings so far. I also forgot to mention they added Michael Dunn, offensive tackle, brought him back, I should say. So Michael Dunn returns to the interior of the offensive line. See if there's other free agency tracker from earlier. We got Shelby Harris on there. No, they had more signings from yesterday. So we'll try and get the other names from yesterday, which were Jordan Hicks and Za'Darius Smith. There we go. Yep. Maurice Hurst, and they traded for Jerry Jeudy. So Jeudy, the first one to fall, then Smith, then Hurst, then Jordan Hicks, and then we had what happened earlier today, which was Shelby Harris, and then before that, it was Jameis Winston and, Nyheim Hines, Michael Dunn, and Hakeem Adeniji. So far we've got, 4 signings right there. Shelby Harris is 5, Za'Darius Smith, Maurice Hurst, Jordan Hicks. 8, and then 1 trade. So 8 total signings so far in free agency. I would say the Browns are relatively busy given their previous years in the first 2 days of free agency. So I'm feeling like the Browns are maybe going to feel rather full soon here. Maybe there's another one. We'll fix the U in that one. Who do you want the Browns to sign next? Let me know. We can run through some of the notable free agents on the board right now. Who do you want the Browns to sign next? I want to give some shout-outs. I have been blabbering for far too long. Scorpion doesn't like the Steelers guy and the Ravens guy. I can understand why a Browns fan would not like either of those two. That's Jack Sperry and Tyler Jones. Both great employees and great co-workers. Who do you guys want to sign next? Here are some of the top free agents we can run through. I don't think they're going to swing big. Like, they're not going to land a Danielle Hunter. I'd be blown away if they get a Calvin Ridley after trading for Jerry Jeudy, right? They maybe add another wide receiver, but that feels like something you do in the draft. They're good at safety. I've heard people say, oh, but Rodney McLeod's a free agent. Shouldn't they have a third safety? They've got a third safety. They've got Grant Delpit, Juan Thornhill, D'Anthony Bell, Ronnie Hickman. Those are all 4 starting caliber safeties in this league. So they can find 3 out of those 4 to make a nice 3-man rotation with. Moving along in our top free agents available list here, Jadeveon Clowney is not coming back. We talked about DJ Reader potentially. However, with the Shelby Harris and Maurice Hurst signings, that one seems highly unlikely at this point. Could you imagine OBJ? I feel like Odell Beckham Jr. is just going to go unsigned until like July, and he'll be what everyone's talking about over the dog days of the offseason. A couple more free agents. I would have liked a Levante David signing maybe. However, with Jordan Hicks coming aboard, that one seems unlikely. The Browns still have a vacancy at one of their 3 linebacker positions. Do they wait to the draft to fulfill that, or do they try and get that done in free agency? Moving along here, some other guys to watch for. Alexander Madison would have made some sense maybe, but they just signed Nyheim Hines, so I don't think that's very likely. They're good at corner. They're good. Like Kyle Van Noy had a really nice season for the Ravens last year, and Andrew Berry's always looking to add an edge rusher, so maybe he waits and sees how the market plays out, right? Do some free agents stay a free agent longer than they hope for, so they drop their asking price, and that's when Andrew Berry picks up the phone and makes a deal happen. He waited all the way till May to get Za'Darius Smith last year, and he was a starting member of this defense. So you're never quite out of the woods with Andrew Berry calling the shots, but it does feel like, at least for the first wave of free agency, the first few days or so, the Browns, I think, are feeling relatively content with the moves they have made. Maybe another one, but I don't think we're going to see a flurry anymore. They've made 8 signings already. Joshua Miller, I was about to say JOK because I read your question. Will JOK get a Patrick Queen-like deal? No, I don't think so. Can we throw Patrick Queen's contract up there for a moment, Smitty, please? Patrick Queen, signed by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He got a, 3-year, $41 million contract. What's that an average of? Like 11? Oh, 41. I thought it was 31. Yeah, 41 divided by 3. 13.5 million. I think you're going to see JOK get a November contract extension that'll pay him 3 years, $38 million. Yeah. No, I don't think he'll get more than Patrick Queen. I actually don't. If he plays super duper well to begin the year, like Pro Bowl caliber guy, then yeah, of course. If he plays the way he played last year, which is still really good, I don't think he's going to have the same kind of pop as Patrick Queen. Because I think Patrick Queen as a linebacker is a bit more of a playmaker when it comes to forced fumbles and interceptions. And that's going to just generate some more buzz around his name. So I think you're going to see JOK get a 3-year, $38 million contract extension. And I don't think they're going to do it in the offseason. I think they're going to wait till midseason. They did that with Grant Delpit. They did that with midseason extensions with Wyatt Teller and Joel Petonio. So this is something that Andrew Berry is very used to doing. Now, who is your favorite signing so far? For the Cleveland Browns, favorite signing so far? Is it Jameis Winston as the backup? Nyheim Hines at running back? One of the 2 DTs, Shelby Harris or Maurice Hurst? Potentially Jordan Hicks at linebacker. Those are kind of the big eye-popping names that have been signed by the Browns so far. Favorite signing, I'm going to give a shout-out to everyone who gets in the chat right now. Debbie, love your trivia. I do think we need to work on the definition of trivia, but I do appreciate your trivia, at least your form of it. Jerry Judy, okay. Let's see. Captain Corndog, do love a good corn dog. DJ Reader, I think after signing Shelby Harris, DJ Reader is likely not coming to Cleveland. It would be a surprise to me. Unless the Browns got him for pennies on the dollar. He was one of the best interior defensive linemen last year. I felt like it was either going to be DJ Reader or 2 out of 3 guys from last year's rotation coming back. The Browns went with the latter of let's bring back a combination of Shelby Harris and Maurice Hurst and likely let Jordan Elliott walk. Maybe they bring Elliott back, but I feel like they're going to hold on to their money. Let someone else sign Jordan Elliott to a 2-year, $10 million contract and 2-year, $8 million contract, and they'll draft a defensive tackle and roll with Dalvin Tomlinson, Maurice Hurst, Shelby Harris, Siaka Ika, and a rookie. That's 5 right there. Ika and a rookie are going to battle it out for the last spot in that rotation. That's my prediction right there. Jerome Baker at linebacker, right? From the Cleveland area. The Browns do need a linebacker, so let's see if Cleveland wants to spend twice at linebacker. They signed Jordan Hicks to a 2-year, $8 million contract, so a decent investment. Like last year, they paid Taki and Anthony Walker combined about $5 million. A little under $5 million, actually. So they almost put all that money for 2 players into one with Jordan Hicks. I'd be a little surprised if they make a similar contract for Jerome Baker. However, free agency always turns upside down after a few weeks or so. When guys are still unsigned, they may lower their asking price. And that's when a team like the Browns, who initially were feeling that they couldn't afford a guy, might swoop in and get him. Okay, are we ready to talk about the couple of signings that were made? Let's check out the super chat that just rolled in here from Jamo Jellybean. Jamo Jellybean? What is the Browns cap situation right now? Checking over the cap because I think they're the best spot for salary cap updates. It's very difficult to say because you don't know how these contracts are structured. Don't look at 2 years, $9 million and think that's $4.5 million a season. That means $4.5 million cap hit. No, that's not how cap hits work. One, the Browns could add void years to these contracts, right, to spread out cap hits over a longer period of time, knowing that the guy won't be on the team actually for those void years. So I can't really say what the cap situation is right now. My guess would be a live number would have it somewhere around $5 million. It may even be a little bit more south than that. So they don't have a ton of cap space at the present moment. But if there's a guy that they really like, that they're surprised is still on the market, they can generate more cap space by restructuring a contract like Deshaun Watson's. That frees up $33 million, and poof, they can go sign one or two more players. Although, I don't know if the Browns are going to be rushing to do that, because if you restructure Deshaun Watson's contract, I kind of look at, how about this analogy? Smitty, maybe this helps. I want you to think about contract restructures, about doing your homework. You can do, let's say you have 7 pieces of homework.
Sure.
You can do 1 piece of homework each day of the week.
Yeah.
Okay? But let's say you want to go out Monday and Tuesday. So you push back those homework assignments to Wednesday and Thursday.
Of course.
If there's great things going on Monday and Tuesday, then that makes sense to do. If there's a concert and there's a game you want to go to,
sure,
then yeah, that makes sense for everyone. Okay? If there's nothing fun happening on Monday or Tuesday, then it doesn't make a lot of sense to push off the homework.
No.
Because it might be more fun later in the week.
Yeah.
So, the Browns have already pushed Deshaun, this homework analogy, for Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, in a very loose analogy as I go from 5 years to 7 days a week, all the way till Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
Do they want to push Friday's homework to Saturday and have 2 days to do 7 days of homework?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? You could do it, but maybe you feel like, let's actually spread it out a little bit more, because you already kicked it back as it was from the first year you signed him till last year's contract restructure. I think that's a decent analogy to actually restructuring cap hits.
I actually don't think there's a better one. So I think that's as close as we could have got.
We'll look at it as like, instead of 7 days a week, just take the 5 school days. Like, you've got 5 assignments of homework. You pushed back Mondays and Tuesdays to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Do you want to push Wednesdays to Thursday and Friday and save it all to the end? Again, it's not apples to apples because I didn't mention the possibility of like getting a homework extension, which I guess in this analogy would be like if you're a really good student, the teacher says we'll extend the homework deadline.
Yeah.
So you can spread it out over more days from next week. But I think that's a decent way to describe restructuring contracts.
That was good.
Yeah. Josh, what's going on, buddy? Is Derrick Henry's contract a blueprint for Nick Chubb's extension? We'll throw Henry's contract up on screen. Somebody's reading my mind already. Derrick Henry going to the Baltimore Ravens. He signed a 2-year contract. I believe it was $16 million off the top of my head. That's $8 million a season. And I believe it was worth up to $20 million. So I don't think this is a blueprint, though, to answer your question, Josh. I think what's more likely is if there is a change in Nick Chubb's contract, which there may be, there may not be, I'm more inclined to believe there will be some sort of change, and it won't just stay as it currently is, that they will consolidate it, make it a big signing bonus, lower his cap hit for this year, and make it a 1-year contract.
Could also boost it with a bunch of incentives as well. Derrick Henry can earn up to $20 million over this contract.
Yeah, they could extend him for a year if they feel like Nick Chubb's not going to be his full self in 2024. they may not even, I know it sounds crazy to say, but he got surgery in November. What if he just doesn't play 2024? And so they don't want that to be the last year, so they extend him by another season. This, I think, is a little bit too rich, though, because of the injury. I don't think it's far off, but I don't think it's likely, Josh. I do appreciate your super chat, though. All right, everyone. We do have some signings to get to. They actually signed 2 offensive linemen. They re-signed Michael Dunn. Then they brought in Hakeem Ndenajay, something like that. And then we've got the Shelby Harris. Yeah, Michael Dunn will join the Hakeem signing. Yeah. Jeremy, $10 super chat. All right, we'll check out Jeremy's super chat, and then we'll jump into the signings. Hey, Petey, let's do something special for Nick Chubb helmet. I sent you an email to make sure you check it out. We need better at running back. If Chubb isn't ready, let's go Browns. Let me check my email and respond to you once I'm done with the live show. If you haven't noticed, I'm not the greatest multitasker, and if I'm talking and I'm doing something else, I end up just saying nothing. So let me give you a much more thoughtful response after the show. Yeah. So we need a better running back. We need better at running back. If Chubb isn't ready, let's go Browns. I'm not too confident in Andrew Berry's plan of Jerome Ford and Nyheim Hines. If that truly is the plan, those two and Pierre Strong Jr. or John Kelly, right? Or maybe a rookie. That doesn't seem like a very good plan. That sounds like a plan that we did last year. And it didn't really work that well. Can we be honest? I don't think adding Nyheim Hines should be enough at the running back position. Although I don't know who else they're going to sign at this point. All the good running backs are gone. And it's not really the Browns' fault that, unfortunately for them, the running back market was huge this year. The draft market is awful. And the Browns need a running back. But they also don't need a running back. They just need a rental for 8 to 10 weeks. So they weren't going to pay DeAndre Swift 3 years, $24 million. Or Austin Eckler 2-year, $11.5 million. They needed one of those guys on a 1-year, $4 million contract. But every team paid big at running back because there's not a lot of good running backs in this year's draft. So if you wanted a running back for 2024, you had to go to free agency to get one. So if you are ready for the show to begin, like today's video. Jeremy, salute to you for all of your support of the channel. We've got 138 people hanging out with us right now. 24 likes, though. Can we get ourselves up to 40 likes? 16 likes, and then we will jump into this live show here as we break down 3 signings the Browns made within 30 minutes of each other. Michael Dunn, Hakeem Ndenajay, and Shelby Harris. Okay, so we're at 34 likes, 6 likes to go, and then we will jump into it. Caleb, this is a common-ish question I get, and I understand it's a very unorthodox way of going about your NFL reporting world, so I'll just try and nip this in the bud. Yes, I host the Cleveland Browns Report, and I also help with our Broncos and Falcons channel. Try to understand at Chat Sports, there are 32 NFL teams. We just don't have 32 hosts. It's still a small and growing company, so all of us work really hard, and some of us have to work on multiple channels. With it's just a basic business model of make those channels bigger so the company is richer, so we can hire more hosts so they can take over those channels. The Browns channel is my #1 channel. So that's no secret. I don't think I'm going to keep that a secret from anyone or ever try to. The Browns Report is the #1 channel I do here at Chat Sports, but I do have to help out in other facets because it's still a growing company. And I know that's unorthodox and it's unusual, but man, I love my job because I get to talk about the NFL. I love talking about sports, and if that means I have to talk about a couple more teams than just the Browns, my boss asked me to do that, I'm not going to say no. Okay, cool guys in the chat. I don't think I've seen Tie Man. We got military history here. What's the matter? Yeah. Jacob, we did move it up earlier just because of free agency. I didn't want to wait all the way till 4 p.m. I feel bad for Time Man. He must be so confused. Matt Cleveland 2020. Harris is a nice rotational piece, but I'm praying that we can still get DJ Reader. you better pick up a few more gods if you want to get DJ Reader. I don't think the Browns are going to be signing Shelby Harris to a 2-year, $9 million contract, Maurice Hurst to a 1-year, $3.5 million contract. Like right there alone, those two guys combined for $7 million and change, right? Call it almost $8 million. DJ Reader, I think, is looking for $8 million at least per season. So if he's signing, even if it's at a absolute floor of a 1-year, $8 million contract, I don't see him getting less money than that. Well, then you're going to double what you spent on two guys for one player. That doesn't seem like an Andrew Berry style of move. He was very stubborn about adding defensive tackles up until last year. Then he opened up his pocketbook for Dalvin Tomlinson. Then he brought in Shelby Harris in August for a $5 million contract. I don't think we're going to see DJ Reader. And I like DJ Reader. I think he was one of the unsung heroes of the Bengals defensive surgence the last few years. Like Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard have been doing great stuff down there in Kentucky, but they needed DJ Reader in the middle. And without him, things don't quite work the same way. So we'll see if the broke bitches down in Cincinnati want to pay DJ Reader. All right, are we ready to jump into a live breakdown of the 3 signings the Browns have made? We ready? Okay. Let's do this thing. Get the intro video, and then we'll jump right into Shelby Harris, Michael Dunn, and Akeem Adonijah all signing with the Cleveland Browns. So we see some questions coming in. You're more than welcome to use hashtag Browns in the chat. Or if you want to super chat, you can skip the line, and we guarantee your question gets on screen, like Josh and Scorpion and Jeremy have done, and Jamo Jelly Bean as well. And we got to 45 likes, so we are ready to roll. All right, let's see who's in the chat. I'm giving shout-outs. Rusty Wagner, Cool Guy, Mike Hall. I've got John. If Chubb comes out of the gates fully healthy, then him and Hines will be beasts. Agreed. Oh, 100% that Nyheim Hines is a good signing if Nick Chubb is healthy. Without Nick Chubb, if it's like 6 weeks or more, Jerome Ford and Nyheim Hines for 5 weeks does not sound like a very good duo. I'll be honest. That scares me. That sounds like a lot like the duo we saw last year. Like Kareem Hunt and Nyheim Hines are not in the same spot of their careers, but I think they're in the same kind of skill tier at the moment. So, not crazy about that one. We got Jared Roush in the chat. Good to see you, Jared. I hope you're having a wonderful day 2 of free agency this Tuesday. Baker and White, our middle linebacker. Okay. We're talking about Jordan Hicks. All right. Let's do this thing. All right. Let's talk about a couple of the signings the Browns have made in the last 3 hours here in day 2 of NFL free agency. Andrew Berry continues to stay busy here on day 2 of free agency. He made 3 more signings today after signing Jameis Winston and Nyheim Hines earlier today. We actually made a video about that, so if you missed those signings, feel free to check them out. But let's run through the Shelby Harris signing, and then we also had 2 offensive linemen get signed. But I would say Shelby Harris, the most notable of the 3 names most recently signed by Cleveland. You can look at Shelby Harris's stats from last season: 28 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks. Maybe my favorite stat of all, 5 pass breakups. I know pass breakups as a defensive tackle doesn't look like an eye-popping stat, but he did have a habit of getting his big paws up and batting down passes at the line of scrimmage. PFF, by the way, ranked him 31st out of 130 qualifying defensive tackles, and he cashes in on a 2-year, $9 million contract. So now we look at the 3 defensive tackle free agents, which we've been talking about for quite some time, and I was saying for quite some time, I think the most likely outcome here was going to be the Browns bring back 2 out of those 3 guys. I thought it was for sure going to be Maurice Hurst, because I thought he was going to be the cheapest of all 3, and he might even be the best of all 3, actually. And then it would come down to Jordan Elliott and Shelby Harris, which one would likely be a little bit on the cheaper side, / I bet the Browns actually even preferred Shelby Harris because Jordan Elliott showed 3 years of non-starting defensive tackle play, and then a really good 2023 season and a contract year, which means if there were going to be a couple of suitors for Elliott, I wouldn't mind the Browns kind of backing out of a very subtle bidding war and just roll with Hurst and Harris, who I would say were better than Elliott last year. So now the Browns roll into 2024 currently with basically the same four-ish starting defensive tackles. Like Jordan Elliott, Shelby Harris, and Maurice Hurst all did a pretty good rotation at that second DT spot. So even if Elliott does not return, which that door's not completely shut, but it definitely sounds very unlikely, the Browns are going to have a lot of familiarity back on that defensive line that just kicked ass last year. I think this was a moment where Andrew Berry didn't have to overthink it, didn't have to pull up the film too much, just stop and go. Defensive line was great last year. It was the best defensive line in a lot of ways in Cleveland Browns history. You don't have to overthink this one. Let's just run it back. Sometimes running it back's a bad idea, but sometimes it's a very good idea. And I think this was a good decision by the Browns to bring back Maurice Hurst and Shelby Harris. Sure, a DJ Reader would have been a lot of fun. I think he's better, most likely, than your Shelby Harris and Maurice Hurst, but he's probably going to be twice as expensive as those guys. And the Browns just historically, at least under Andrew Berry, have not invested a ton of money up until Dalvin Tomlinson at that spot, which is why I never thought we'd actually see Christian Wilkins come to Cleveland. That was always a bit of a pipe dream. And the Browns, I think, they don't just play it safe. Like, they just go for a double with bringing back two awesome DTs last year in Hurst and Harris. So grade the re-signing of Shelby Harris. A, B, C, D, or F. Give it a B+. Like, DJ Reader was a popular name. I know he was loosely rumored to Cleveland. That would have been super cool. I think he's one of the best interior defensive linemen in football. However, that's going to cost you a little bit more. He's also coming off an injury, a torn quad, pushing 30 years old. It's not like Maurice Hurst has always had a clean bill of health, but I still feel like bringing back Hurst and Shelby Harris can't be deemed a bad decision by any stretch. So for me, I'm a fan of this decision right here for the Browns to bring back those two defensive tackles, bring back Za'Darius Smith yesterday, and you are getting the band back together. And this defense, there is an element of, as much as we want to evaluate them purely based off of PFF and Pro Football Reference, let's not lose sight of there's a human element. Like, these guys are more than just stat keepers. Like, they are humans, and if you ever played on a sports team before, you know that there is an important element of having quality teammates, and this defense loved playing with one another. And I'm happy to see that they're keeping much of the 2023 defense intact. Now, as the linebacker position goes, remember, they added Jordan Hicks to a 2-year, $8 million contract yesterday. I think he takes over at middle linebacker from Anthony Walker. It's a, bitter departure for Walker because he was so good and such a great leader, but ultimately they couldn't really keep Anthony Walker on the field. So Jordan Hicks comes over. He's played really good football the last few seasons, going from Arizona to Minnesota, where he was a Viking for 2 years. So I do like the Jordan Hicks signing. I didn't expect the Browns to make a big swing at the linebacker position. I thought Levante David would have been an awesome vet pickup, but Hicks on a 2-year, $8 million contract. He's not going to be a playmaker linebacker. He's not going to force a bunch of fumbles or interceptions, but he's going to stop the run, and he's not going to get burned in coverage. And for 2 years, $8 million, that's all I need him to do. Now, we have more free agent signings to talk about here on the channel, but make sure you are subscribed because there's just no other channel out there that's going to keep you up to date on all things Cleveland Browns during NFL free agency. So if you haven't joined nearly 34,000 strong yet, please go ahead and do so. Let's switch gears and let's talk about two more signings the Browns made. Hakeem Adeniji, the offensive tackle, originally with the Cincinnati Bengals, and then he went over to the Minnesota Vikings last year, where he was sort of their James Hudson. I think that's the best analogy I can give. So Hakeem Adeniji, in his career, you can look at his stats, 43 games played. He has 15 starts between Cincinnati and Minnesota. He was a 6th-round draft pick by the Bengals, 171 snaps at left tackle, 555? Yeah, at right guard, and then 219 at right tackle. So he's got versatility. He's played tackle. He's played guard. And I think this is your James Hudson replacement. I think the Browns move on from Hudson potentially, and they ultimately decide to make Akeem Adeniji their sixth man, right? And we'll see if this means anything big for a Jack Conklin move or anything like that, or if it's simply the Browns going, we learned last year how valuable it was to have depth at the offensive line, specifically the tackle position. So let's go get a cheap backup offensive tackle. I wouldn't read into that one too much. The other signing they made for the Hogs up front, Michael Dunn back on a one-year contract. He was a glue guy. He was a locker room guy. He ripped his calf in half at one point, filling in for Joel Petonio in the 49ers game, finished the game, went on IR afterwards, and then would come back and help him play later in the season. So I think this is a nice re-signing for the Browns to get Michael Dunn back. I thought they might target interior offensive line in the draft because when you look at the depth chart, Joel Petonio, Ethan Posick, Wyatt Teller, they're all under contract for this year and next year, but they all are going to have bigger cap hits in the future. So if Cleveland wanted to start planting some seeds to maybe replace one of those guys by picking a guy this year and then having him kind of redshirt 2024 to maybe step into a bigger role in 2025, they could have gone that route, but ultimately they have decided to likely reduce the need for offensive line in the draft, which is a little bit surprising because this offensive line class is loaded this year. So if there was a time to go get offensive line, this would be the draft to do it. But Michael Dunn back on a one-year contract. He's going to be your interior offensive line backup if, God forbid, Petonio or Teller were to go down. Could probably even fill in at center if needed, since Nick Harris is a free agent as well. So let's kind of recap everyone on all the moves the Browns have made so far in free agency. They started off by trading for Jerry Jeudy, which I told you all before free agency. The Browns under Andrew Berry are not big free agent spenders as much as they love just making trades in free agency. And that was their splash move they made. Also brought back Za'Darius Smith. Love that contract. Love that move. Maurice Hurst, 1 year, $3.2 million. Of the three defensive tackle free agents, he's kind of my favorite, and he's also the cheapest. So it's just ultimate value right there. All right. Jordan Hicks, middle linebacker, 2 year, $8 million contract. Then earlier we talked about this. Jameis Winston, 1 year deal, up to $8.7 million. Little surprised they didn't bring back Joe Flacco. Would love to know what really happened, because both sides wanted a reunion. And then he's still a free agent, and the Browns pivot to Jameis. What changed? Were the Browns never serious about bringing Flacco back? Did Flacco not want to come back because he wanted to wait and see if he could get a starting gig elsewhere, at least compete for one? And the Browns said, well, listen, we don't want to wait and risk losing out on you in a few weeks, and then there's no good backup quarterbacks to sign. So I would love to know what really went down in Berea, because part of me wonders, and maybe this is just me reading into it too much, and that's a very real possibility, the Browns didn't want to bring back Joe Flacco and have a bit of an elephant in the room, in the locker room of, hey, we have Deshaun Watson as our starting quarterback, and the NFL Comeback Player of the Year, who led us to the playoffs last year in some ways, we actually going to stick him on the bench. Don't you feel like the noise in the locker room might get a little loud if Watson has a bad half or a bad game and people are wondering, should they put Flacco back in? Maybe the Browns just wanted to avoid that possibility altogether. Nyheim Hines as a running back, 1 year up to $3.5 million. I wish they were able to go get a bigger running back. I know the running back market this year really ballooned up because the draft class is so weak. Teams that needed running back help in 2024 were going to do that in free agency and not in the draft. But I was, naive, thinking they could go get a DeAndre Swift or an Austin Eckler or a Tony Pollard for a 1 year contract between $4 to $6-ish million. Instead, they take Nyheim Hines, who missed all of last season due to a boating accident. He was cut by the Bills. He was with the Colts for a while. He's always been a scat back, a receiving back as well. Picks up pass rushers nicely. I'm not confident, to be honest with you guys, that Hines and Jerome Ford can get the job done together. If that's truly the makeup of the running back room for 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, whenever Nick Chubb comes back, hopefully Chubb does not miss much time. Otherwise, this ground game is going to look a lot like the way it ended last year, which was painstakingly slow. Michael Dunn and Hakeem Adeniji, and then we had most recently Shelby Harris, 2-year, $9 million contract. So all things considered, I think all the signings so far have been pretty good because they haven't really spent a ton of money. It's hard to be upset when the biggest contract given out is $24 million in terms of whether or not you whether or not you hate the contract. Like, sure, they could have swung for bigger pieces, but I didn't think the Browns would be doing that. I thought they would be a little bit quieter this free agency period compared to last year. Remember last year, they kind of opened it up by signing Okoronkwo, and then they got Dalvin Tomlinson. This year, they're really just focusing on being the Dallas Cowboys of the AFC North, just holding on to her own guys, and then slapping some Flex Seal on a couple of other minor holes, but they weren't going to buy a brand new boat. All right, let's wrap up the show by picking a card. I've got producer Tyler Smith hanging out with me today. Smitty texted me yesterday, and he's like, hey, we're working together tomorrow. I'm like, let's go. He's like, what time? I was like, bright and early, buddy. He's like, oh, boy. So we picked him up, and off we came in. We've got a lot done so far today.
We've got a lot done so far. I'd say we're the real MVPs of free agency day 2.
Oh, no doubt about it. The rest of the Chat Sports crew, they got their dicks in their hands fucking
Sleep
around.
at the wheel.
Okay. Which card do you want to go with?
Give me a jack of clubs.
Andrew Barry. Feels like an ace.
Okay.
Ace of hearts.
All right.
He's got a good heart.
I like that.
I thought about this one. I didn't say it. Jack of hearts.
Oh, it was just a suit off.
That's a tough scene. Tough scene. All right. Those are the signings made by the Cleveland Browns so far in day 1 and day 2 of NFL free agency. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot more other than some roster fill-out signings of guys coming in just to compete for a roster spot. I think you're going to see a lot of the guaranteed money that's been given out in contracts pretty much all given out already. So don't have high hopes for the Browns making another big splash signing. Can never quite rule them out of a trade. They still have pick 54 to, hold in front of a team if they want to go get a guy like maybe Khalil Mack from the Chargers, although it wouldn't cost you round number 2 to get him. So we're going to sign off. Thank you so much for tuning into our coverage. More of it coming your way, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Who do you want the Browns to sign next? Let me know in the comment section. Matt Hancock is here. Good to see you, man. Military history, Battle of Britain. I don't know how we got to that, but sure enough, we're talking about the early stages before the V2 rockets came into play. Jack of... No one got the card right. Scott with 5 of spades. Why are we talking about A Bridge Too Far with Sean Connery? Great movie, although I'm not going to lie, I think I cried when the British soldier, that one scene when he goes out to get the the food dropping, the care package from the plane. Greasy Flight probably knows what I mean. I could start a YouTube channel on World War II movies.
What film is this?
Bridge Too Far is about the Allied takeover or attempted takeover. It was called Operation Market Garden, of them going into the Netherlands to try and beat Germany before Christmas. Because remember, they got to Normandy in June.
Yes.
They wanted to get it done before December. And they tried to bite off more than they could chew. And they underestimated the German defenses in Holland. And it's called A Bridge Too Far because they tried to do too much.
Yeah, I tried to go a little too far.
Yep. Really good movie. Another good World War II movie I like a lot, Behind Enemy Lines with Jude Law. It's about Stalingrad.
Okay.
Very good movie. Okay. We should probably stop talking about World War II. I'll lose half the audience.
Saving Private Ryan, I'm a fan.
Yeah. Okay. I saw someone mention Corey Bojorquez. I would love to see him. Did he sign? Okay. I would love to see Corey Bojorquez come back. He had the best season of his NFL career as a punter. Punters are funny. They're tough to evaluate. I've got one simple trick for you to know if you have a good punter or not. Just keep a rough mental log of every time your punter punts the ball. More often than not, does the return man backpedal? Because usually that's kind of like the middle school, high school, he can't shoot, or like in baseball. Bring it in, everyone. Bring in the infield. Don't worry. So if the return man starts backing up on punt after punt after punt, then the punter's having a great day. Like, you're obviously going to have your great punts where it stops at the 1 or it bounces out of bounds at the 2, but by and large, when they're just flipping the field, going from 120 to the other, if you can get the other return man to step back for a couple of times, and you notice that throughout the game, that's a good punter. And that was Borquez last year.
I agree. He's one of the league's elite punter. Like, you notice when a team has an elite punter.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Christopher Stofira is not happy with the players we brought in so far. Please elaborate, because I like Shelby Harris and Maurice Hurst coming back. Same with Za'Darius Smith. I know Jordan Hicks was not a very fun signing, and listen, maybe that's a spot we look back at and go, that was a mistake. The Browns should have been more serious about the linebacker position. And I don't think I'm hiding that, right? I don't think I'm trying to be like an Andrew Berry truther and say all these signings are A+. I don't know if like you're different as a fan. Me as a fan, I always want to believe the team is making good decisions.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, there are people that believe the team is always doing a bad job.
Listen,
that's not usually my mental headspace.
There are 17, now 18 weeks of pessimism that you can have during the NFL season.
Yeah.
This is a time of optimism. Everybody's 0-0. Everybody's trying to build themselves up a little bit. Listen, the Browns were in the playoffs last year, and they didn't have their starting quarterback. So you guys are going to be just fine. And this is a time where you just make moves around the margin. I don't think that they needed necessarily some massive overhaul of the roster or massive free agent signing splash. They added Jerry Jeudy. I think that's a massive name for you guys, and you're going to be better than you were this season.
Absolutely.
You should be. Saquon Barkley is a Philadelphia Eagle, my friend.
Can you give some shout-outs? I just got to work on the title for this
Absolutely. What do you guys want? Was it a smart decision? Grade the signing of Jameis Winston. What do you guys think of the Jameis Winston signing? Let me throw his deal up here for you guys. Because I'm a fan of J-Bo. I think he is a top 36, top 37 quarterback. A $5 super chat rolling in from Greasy Flight. Let's hit Jared Roach first, who sent in a $2 super chat during our little cut here. What are our first 3 picks, and who would you take? Well, that is definitely not a question for me. We'll come back to that in just a moment.
Sorry, everyone. I'm just updating the title for this video.
No problem at all. Greasy Flight, hopefully I can answer you. Thank you, Petey, for the great Christmas card. I can't answer this one either.
I hope you didn't just get it. That's my fear right now.
You and your mail, man.
Dude, here's what pisses me off about it. I love the mail. I write a lot of letters. Smitty, right here above me, at Secret Santa, he was the lucky winner of PD Trivia. It's a monthly subscription where it's not much of a subscription, actually. It's just Smitty.
Yes.
And a Secret Santa gift where I write trivia once a month.
2 big questions that get me thinking.
Yeah. And what pisses me off, though, is I'm also I write letters to all my friends for their birthdays. And some of my friends, they never include their full address. They just forget they have an apartment number. So I write them a letter. It gets returned to sender. And then I want to put it back in the mail because I don't want to use another stamp. I just want to write the apartment number on the letter and put it back in.
Yeah.
And they still send it right back to me.
You can't. But
I can't double send it.
Even after you add the.
Yes, they won't take it.
Wow.
Really ticks me off.
U.S. Postal Service, figure that out. All right, and Jared Roosh's
question. Greasy, thank you so much for the super chat. Jarrett, what are our first 3 picks, and who would you take? Okay. They have pick 54, they have round 3, and then I don't know the number of round number 4. I'm not that Rain Man of Browns.
Still giving away picks to the Texans?
There are some picks. There's a first round pick going to the Texans this year. Yes, that is true. Okay.
That was a serious question. I didn't
54, 85, and 156. They're not in round 4, actually. I did know that one. Okay, 54, though. I'll be honest. You think I'd want to go wide receiver here? I'm not. I really would love to see Edgerrin Cooper. He's the linebacker out of Texas A&M. I think it's time for the Browns to prioritize linebacker a little bit more in the draft. They haven't drafted a linebacker since Tony Fields in 2021. right? I'd like to see them go, yeah, because, oh no, 2022.
JOK.
Oh no, it was JOK and Tony Fields in 2021. So they haven't drafted a linebacker since then.
Okay.
Like they didn't take one in 2022, and they didn't take one in 2023. So I'd like to see them go Edgerrin Cooper, Texas A&M linebacker. He was the heart and soul of the Aggies defense. He's also just one of those, like, I do a little bit of everything, which I know that's not usually Andrew Berry's preferred draft target. But at linebacker, I think you want a guy who does a little bit of everything. You don't want the linebacker who's famous for he can't keep up in coverage. There's no pass rush upside. Missed tackles. He's a safety in a linebacker position. I want a guy who can check every single box. That's Edgerrin Cooper. So that would be, as of right now, my dream pick at 54. Pick 85, I'm thinking wide receiver. And who's going to be even available in round 3 at that spot?
I know.
I'm actually not crazy about like Brendan Rice. Man, if you can get like a Ricky Pearsall out of Florida.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good.
What about the McCaffrey brother?
Oh, I'm about to say Ed McCaffrey.
Is it Luke McCaffrey?
Yeah, Luke McCaffrey.
He's about 4th round.
Yeah. What about like a Roman Wilson from Michigan?
Oh, yeah, he'll be
kind of a vertical threat. That'd be a nice complementary piece to what they already have here. If Xavier Legette would somehow fall to round 3, that would be awesome. And then for round number 5, I'm all about best player available at that spot, as are the Browns. We saw that. They took an offensive tackle and a quarterback in rounds 4 and 5 last year. 2 things they did not need in the draft. So, hard to say. In a perfect world, I would say it's a defensive tackle who's available at that spot. One defensive tackle that I like. Oh, it's the guy to Clemson. I can't remember his name, so clearly I can't like him that much.
I actually was looking at him.
He's
earlier.
Clemson. Damn, I can't remember his name.
Let me see.
I don't think like Tavondre Sweat's gonna be there. Who's the Clemson defensive tackle?
Rook. Oh.
No, he's got a pretty common
name?
name. Yeah.
Tyler Davis.
Yes, Tyler Davis.
All right.
He's good. He just was injured a little bit, and that's why he's fallen to day 3, or I think he will fall. But if he gets healthy, I think he'd be a good addition. Jarrett, thank you so much for the super chat. What position do the Browns need to target next in free agency? Let me know which position you think Cleveland should go after.
Doesn't have to be a splash signing. Just somebody for depth in the rotation, like they kind of made on the offensive and defensive lines today.
I think tight end's a possibility. Like you're losing Harrison Bryant. If you don't bring him back, you basically only got David Njoku and Jordan Akins. I wouldn't be shocked if they moved on from Jordan Akins, although I think if they were going to do that, they would have done that by now.
Already.
So you never quite know, though.
Do you think there's a chance they sign another running back, or is this it?
I think this is likely. Yeah, I think they'll draft a running back still.
Oh, that's good.
Right. I think here's how I think it's going to go down. Ready? Nick Chubb's going to start the year on the PUP list. He'll go to training camp on the PUP list, and he'll start the year on the PUP list, and he'll be out the first 4 weeks minimum. I think because of that, you can carry 3 running backs. Jerome Ford, Nyheim Hines, and likely a rookie. That rookie and maybe Pierre Strong Jr., maybe they go 4 running backs.
Okay.
Then, chances are, by the time Nick Chubb is ready to return, if it's week 5 or week 8, someone's going to be on IR. A roster spot will have opened, or
someone's going to be on
well,
IR.
let's just call it what it is. Or they'll just cut the least productive back after the first 6 weeks of the season, and Nick Chubb will take that person's roster spot. So I think they'll go running back in the draft still. Wide receiver, I feel like you can just never add enough. It just can't hurt to throw in another wide receiver to the mix and see if they even make the roster to begin with. So I think wide receiver could be an avenue the Browns explore. They got Marquise Goodwin for cheap last year. Let's see if they look for a same budget type signing but a different player than Marquise Goodwin.
Rob Watson saying he loves the Mo Hurst re-signing.
I love the Maurice Hurst re-signing and the Shelby Harris re-signing. I thought they were both really good defensive tackles last year that I'm not going to act like they're top 20 in the league or anything. But when you're paying them a combined $7.5, $8 million for 2 players, I think that's a pretty good value right there. I think for a spot that ultimately has somewhat been degraded the last few years because everyone just wants pass rushers and teams don't run the football as much as they do. Your run-stopping DTs aren't what they used to be. So I think for Cleveland to find good 2 rotation guys for less than $10 million combined, yeah, I think you could do some good damage with that kind of work right there. Let's see. What are the spots? No on tight end, says Scott Zappa. He says running back.
Safety?
No, I've seen safety tossed out. Listen, there are a lot of good safeties. Let's kind of run through the top 25 free agents.
Let's do it.
Just to help you guys get an idea of who's still out there, because I'm sure you guys are all just busy at work. So here are some of the notable free agents still out there. We'll just run through the names. Justin Simmons from Denver is one of them. You've also got other safeties like, what's his face from Seattle? Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams, right? C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So I don't think you're going to see the Browns make a big, not even big, like Rodney McLeod even level signing because they've got 4 good safeties on the roster right now, right?
Yeah.
They've got 2 starters in Grant Delpit and Juan Thornhill. And Ronnie Hickman and DeAnthony Bell, I thought, did a great job filling in last year when called upon. They created takeaways, good tackles. If the Browns still want to run a 3-safety set, I still think they've got 3 good safeties.
Some good safeties.
You leave it to Ronnie Hickman and DeAnthony Bell to duke it out for that 3rd safety spot, and it's Grant Delpit and Juan Thornhill to go along with them. At some point, you just can't simply sign everyone to a 1-year contract. Like, I do think there has to be a certain amount of hits from your own draft picks or UDFA signings. It's just not economically all that feasible to simply keep signing veteran to 1-year deals. Like, you got to have something growing in your own backyard that can become a homegrown thing for you. To rely on free agency every single year, the roster turnover, it's just going to be something that people look back at and go, yeah, I played for the Browns. I had 20 new teammates every single year. There wasn't really a tight bond in that locker room because they kept bringing guys in and taking guys out.
I think that's what they're trying to build right now.
And I do think that, listen, yeah, it's okay to sign some guys to 1-year contracts, but not everyone. You know what I mean? I think safety is a room where you can feel confident about what you already have going right now. Here are the other top 25 free agents still available. Have there been any more signings over the last?
Dante Fowler Jr. to Washington and Gerald Everett to Chicago. I think Gerald Everett.
Gerald Everett to the Bears. Okay.
Might have been a nice name that could have been a depth tight end piece here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Rigoberto Sanchez.
Ooh, I have trivia.
Uh-oh.
Full screen me. I have trivia for everyone. It's good trivia, and you can't look at Twitter because you might see the answer.
I'm not going to look at Twitter.
Okay. I've got good NFL free agency 2024 trivia. You ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. Can you name, and everyone watching is invited to play along, the 5 teams that have not made a single outside free agent signing yet?
Well, I know one of them.
Okay, yep, say it.
Seattle Seahawks.
The Seattle Seahawks are one of those teams.
Dallas Cowboys.
Have not made an outside free agent signing yet. We're talking like the Browns not re-signing Maurice Hurst, but signing Jordan Hicks away from Minnesota. No outside signings yet. There are 5.
The Buffalo
Seattle,
Bills.
Dallas. The Bills have signed someone.
Oh.
I forgot who it was.
It's got to be low level, but.
Yeah. Who are you thinking? They signed Mitch Trubisky.
They did. That was days ago. They kicked things up. The Chargers
have signed someone. I just don't know who.
These are good answers because these are only one guy each here.
Zach says the Colts. Zach would be correct.
Oh, the Colts. I have
not signed someone yet.
Sanchez,
let's see. I see a lot of Cowboys. That is all correct. The Raiders did get Christian Wilkins. Military history says the Buccaneers. That would be correct.
Oh.
Which, hey, they've been very busy. Baker, Mike Evans, Antoine Winfield.
They're big guys.
Okay, I've got one last team.
Oh, it's one more.
I haven't seen it in the chat. When I see it, I'll shout it out.
Nobody get it before me, please.
The Cardinals have signed someone.
They have.
The 49ers
have
signed someone. Leonard Floyd from Buffalo.
Yep.
Who was the last team?
Son of a bitch.
Think about someone in our office who has had to do very little work so far because they have not had a signing. Ladies and gentlemen,
it's the Baltimore Ravens. No.
Signed Derrick Henry.
Shit.
Rob Watson with the Saints.
Oh.
Remember, they are in cap hell.
Demario Davis.
They can't sign anyone.
They just brought back Demario Davis. That was
They restructured his deal kind of. They made a 2-year contract. Bravo to Rob Watson. Nice job, man.
Wow. Good one.
The Jets, they signed Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor is
to be their backup.
The one that jumped out the page to me.
Yep. Panthers signed Robert Hunt to a $100 million contract.
And then former Seahawk Damian Lewis. They spent $153 million on guards.
On 2 guards. Because everyone knows when you're trying to turn around a one-win team, the first place to start is the offensive guard position.
That's right.
Listen, tackle is important, but the thing with guards is
they have the tackle though. They have.
Well, they've got Ike Mekwonu, who kind of sucks.
Kind of sucks, right?
Kind of sucks.
Uh-oh.
But you can hide guards in between tackles and centers.
The Dolphins, they haven't made many signings.
No, they have made some signings though. They brought in Anthony Walker, the linebacker. They also brought in another linebacker, and I just can't remember who it was.
They let go of Andrew Van Ginkel.
They lost Andrew Van Ginkel and Christian Wilkins. They definitely made another signing, though, on defense.
Let me see.
They made a linebacker signing. It wasn't just Anthony Walker. It was another player. He got a 3-year, $30 million contract. Oh, this is going to drive me nuts.
That
Who
was a
it?
safety, no?
Jordan
Brooks.
Jordan Brooks, come on. I knew it.
That was on me. I'm a bad Seahawks fan.
Kev Dog, Petey, what city are you and the Chat Sports guys based in? We're actually in Dallas, Texas. That's where the Chat Sports nucleus is. We've got an office here, multiple studios, and we do have a Cincinnati office. It's currently a 2-man band, although they are adding a 3rd member. So if you're interested, check out the Chat Sports website. You're more than welcome to apply if you feel like you'd like to work somewhere here. Jeremy Stallman. Oh.
Uh-oh.
We got Odd F. Good to see you, Odd F. I hope you're having a good day. Coming over from Broncos country. Not a lot going on in Denver. They are not going to spend a lot this free agency. Jeremy, 8 of hearts on the next card pick. What are you thinking?
Give me...
Everyone get in the chat. Pick a card.
Everybody pick one. Not everybody participated last time. Give me 10 of spades.
10 of spades?
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Jacob Kistner going 10 of diamonds, so we're battling it out there in the 10s.
And I'm going 10 of hearts.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I don't think Danielle Hunter's going to go to Denver. I think Danielle Hunter's going to go to the Arizona Cardinals. They haven't spent a lot yet. They need help at pass rush, and it feels like it would be an appropriate signing for them.
That would just be so anticlimactic.
Could you see Danielle Hunter go, I can get $90 million from this team, or I can go 95 to the Cardinals and not be competitive but get more money?
I think I'd rather be competitive and get 90.
No, I know, but when you're 29 years old.
I know, it's true. But he's never been competitive before.
The Vikings haven't been uncompetitive. They were in the playoffs 2 years ago.
They lost to Daniel Jones.
He's won a playoff game. They beat the Saints that one year in New Orleans. And then they got curb stomped by, in the corner of the end zone. Then they got curb stomped by the Niners. Okay, Are we ready? I'm going to go with 10 of hearts, you said, right?
I'm 10 of spades.
All right, here we go.
You're 10 of hearts.
Does anyone get it? I'm going to show it. Last call. No one has it. One person is very close, though. Okay. Debbie said Queen of Spades. It's Queen of Diamonds.
Ooh.
Queen of Diamonds.
Kev Dog, we're in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, I think we've answered that 10 times now.
Yeah.
I think that's what Hades is referring to. Okay, so hey, let's recap some of the free agent signings. I know we have some people just joining us that are like, all right, what's gone on in the last 48 hours? Catch with the speed,
Should
PD.
we start from the ones who have signed today?
Yeah, let's go today. Let's go in backwards chronological order.
Oh, okay.
Right? Does that make sense? The most recent all the way back to the Jerry Jeudy trade on Saturday.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Just
So.
want to make sure. Come on. We're almost there.
Almost there. Ooh, I didn't know. Okay.
Some of these will be surprises to Petey.
Yeah, so just talking NFL in general, right? Go right here. That works.
Yep. I'm gonna throw this one up here as well, just because it is one little straggler left over.
Ooh. Who is it?
It is Dante Fowler.
Okay. Oh, former first-round pick.
Yes.
He's going to the Commies. He was, of course, with the Cowboys.
They're signing all the former
Okay.
first-round picks.
What's better, the Washington Cowboys or the Dallas Commanders? I think it's got to be the Washington Cowboys.
Washington Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deion Bush going to the Chiefs. Gerald Everett going to the Bears on a 2-year, $12 million deal. The first signing after DeAndre Swift the Bears have made. Amik Robertson, he helps out on the defensive line for the Detroit Lions on a 2-year, near $10 million contract. Patrick Queen, big contract right there.
Yeah.
3 years, $41 million. It's a little over 13.5 a season. I think it's a good signing for Pittsburgh. I think that's a franchise that takes pride in having their good linebackers. I'm just shocked. Not shocked, but Ravens fans are going to hate this. There were some revenge signings this free agency. Saquon Barkley going to the Eagles and Patrick Queen going to the Steelers. Also, Drew Lock, 1 year, $5 million guaranteed.
My sweet prince.
That is backup quarterback money. I don't think that is an intention to really bring in competition for Daniel Jones. I do think there is an overarching belief of let's have someone we're a little bit more confident to turn to if we get to that point.
Yes. Yeah. Not Tommy DeVito.
Yeah. Okay, we had Malcolm Roach. He's going to the Broncos from the Saints on a 2-year deal. Michael Dunn, like we talked about. And then Derrick Henry, maybe the biggest name, I would say, to go today.
Definitely the biggest name.
Most notable name. Not the biggest money. I think the biggest money is Darnell Mooney to the Falcons.
No,
$39 million.
It's Patrick Queen. It's by a little bit.
Oh, $41 million for Queen?
Yep.
Okay, yes, you're right. Derrick Henry, though, again, more AFC North here. Not crazy about this. Really hoping Father Time continues to catch up to Derrick Henry. There's just I want to test something out here.
What do you got?
Okay, Derrick Henry.
How many more years does this guy have left?
Derrick Henry's 30 years old. Okay.
I don't know if he's going to be playing at 34.
I want to know. I'm going to find this out right now. How many running backs had over 1,000 yards
after age 30?
After age 30.
I believe
with a good amount of carries.
I believe Eddie George was cooking late into his career. That's like 20 years ago when they were giving him 30 carries a game. Good offensive line in.
I think 1,000's a little bit too low. Let's do 1,100. I know I'm kind of making it a little bit difficult on it, but I do think getting to 1,000.
With the 18th game, you got to add.
Yes,
1,100.
that's why.
18th week, you got to add. You got to account for, because it's not cool to be a 1,000-yard receiver anymore. You got to get to 1,100. Got Irv Smith heading to Kansas City. I mean, that is just another weapon for Patrick Mahomes. I know they got guys like Blake Bell and Noah Gray there, but I think Irv Smith is an absolute tier slotted above those two guys, right behind.
Okay, I have the results.
Okay.
There has been no running back over the age of 30 to run 1,100 yards or more since 2016.
Let's go. Trivia time!
Can you name the running backs to go over 1,100 yards, 30 years older, in the last 15 years? We'll go back to like 2010.
Okay.
There are actually 4 guys that have done it since 2010.
4 guys have done it since 2010.
By the way, all but one were 30 years old on the dot.
Okay.
Like there were more 31, 32.
This is the last year that Derrick Henry has to hit 1,100 yards. Oh, man.
And the most recent one was 2016.
2016. So I'm thinking, like, who was 30 in 2016? I mean,
yeah. You guys are more, of course. Travis, you got it correct. Adrian Peterson.
Oh, shit.
He was not the 2016 one, though. He was 2015.
Okay.
But he did do it with the Minnesota Vikings, 1,400 yards.
This was not DeMarco Murray.
So we have one of the 4. Adrian Peterson's one of them. Again, 30 years older, 1,100 plus yards.
Was it David Johnson?
No.
He was like close.
He was young. He was young when he got
You
that.
think he was young? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought he was like closer.
Frank Gore, Jeremy Stallman, you
Son
are
of a
correct.
gun.
Frank Gore did it twice, actually. 30 and 31.
Wow.
So there's one more. There's two more. 2016 and
Oh,
2011.
he's not the 2016.
He was not the 2016 one.
Oh my God, this is ridiculous.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you a hint for the 2016 one.
It was probably Shady McCoy.
It was not Shady McCoy.
not Shady McCoy.
2016 one, multiple Super Bowl rings.
Ooh. Okay. So.
Multiple Super Bowl rings.
Multiple Super Bowl rings. It means he's probably
Played his best in the Super Bowl, I would say.
he's like probably a Patriot, but like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is it?
What?
Uh-huh.
I'm so confused. Who the Patriots running backs were always trash.
LeGarrette
It was
Blount.
LeGarrette Blount.
Good
Shit.
job, Pebble.
Shit, I had it.
Good job, Pebble.
Pebble got me by a millisecond.
Okay. There's one more. It was 2011,
Oh man.
and I don't know if they were still on that team. Yes, they were. That's what I thought.
Somebody said Michael Turner.
No. Big Booty Turner did not do it.
Is it Steven Jackson?
No. It's an AFC West running back in 2011. They're a recognizable name. It's just been that long.
Okay.
AFC West running back, 2011, 1,100 yards.
LaDainian Tomlinson?
Not LT.
Ooh. He's probably around 30.
Not
then.
Jamal Charles.
He was not 30.
He was not 30.
No Sean. No, not No.
No,
Sean.
not No
Willis
Sean.
McGahee?
Willis McGahee.
Oh,
Good job.
I got one, baby. Let's go.
Willis McGahee. So if you just exclude the last, go off years, it's happened 36 times. Some guys have repeated, like Frank Gore, for example, and Adrian Peterson, I believe, as well, or maybe just once AP. But it goes to show 30 is a kiss of death for a running back.
Yeah. Absolute kiss of death.
1,100 yards, that's not an easy number to get to.
But Derrick Henry is going to be a Hall of Fame running back.
I know.
He is not the average mold.
History would say Derrick Henry is not going to go as well as Ravens fans might feel it will.
Yeah.
However, I do feel like if there's an exception, it's Derrick Henry.
This also could be like Celtic Shaq, though. I don't know.
Yeah. Nick Chubb is 28 years old.
Still got 2 more years of Chubb.
And he turned 28 in December, too.
Oh, Alex Z says, what are the chances we draft Edgerrin Cooper, your boy?
I mean, it's really difficult to give an honest answer for anyone in terms of how likely or what are the chances, because we're talking about who's going to be available at pick 54. I don't think any team has a good idea of who's definitively going. Teams know who's going 1 through 20, right? They know who's going to go likely from 20 to 32. What they don't know is who's going to be for sure taken from 33 to 53.
Guys can fall.
Guys fall. It happens. It's just impossible to say.
All right, let's get some more free
Yeah. How about Shaq Barrett?
Is he washed?
1 year, $9 million. Led the NFL in sacks not too many years ago. Darnell Mooney with the big splash signing of the day. I think Darnell Mooney's a good player. Remember, I talked about the Browns signing him. I thought it'd be a 1 year, $5-6 million contract. I think Mooney's a good player. I feel like this is a huge overpay by Atlanta. That's somewhat of the trend of free agency, though. You kind of always overpay. And if they end up playing well, then you're not going to be too upset with the contract. But, man, that was a big contract to give out for a guy with back-to-back 400-yard-ish seasons.
Here we go. Big one. Joe Mixon to the Texans.
Yeah, trade to the Texans, not getting released.
Does
Houston needs a running back.
Does Damian Pierce, where's he at?
Dude, he sucks. He got benched last
Is he
year.
just trash?
Yeah, he's trash.
Oh, man.
Damian Pierce is the epitome of NFL fantasy football TikTokers losing their reputation because they all told you Damian Pierce.
Yes, they did all tell me.
Everyone thought they were so cool for saying Damian Pierce in year 1 and in year 2.
Yeah, rookie year Damian Pierce because he was the only running back in the room.
Yep. And then it was like
four
sophomore year breakout season. If you look at the average touches he had from weeks 12 to 14 last year, put that over 2020.
Oh, it's always the weeks 12
Yes.
through 16 or 17, whatever it is. Yeah, you're right.
Uh-huh.
You're right.
So Joe Mixon goes down to Houston. Cleveland Farrell, former early pick
They're
by
just
the Raiders.
loading up on the first-round picks in Washington.
Yeah,
They're
he
just
goes
trying
off to the
recoup.
Commies. Matt Hennessy goes to the Eagles. And then earlier we had Darius Williams. He goes back to the Rams. Daquan Jones, I believe stays in Buffalo. Yeah, on a 2-year, $16.5 million contract. The Vikings made a couple of guys. Oh, Aaron Jones. He definitely wanted to stay in the NFC North and stick it to the Packers for picking Josh Jacobs over him. So I'm very much looking forward to that revenge matchup.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It was the only running back room pretty much open in that division, so he kind of just went where he could.
Yep.
Is Darius Williams the corner?
Yeah.
And he was
with
the
the Jacksonville with Jags last year.
Okay, but he used to be on the Rams.
Yeah, won a Super Bowl with them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Did not realize.
Other signings, Javon Kinlaw. I thought the Browns might go after him a little bit. He's got that first-round pedigree, and we know Andrew Berry sometimes likes to view his defensive tackles as career rehab. Tristan Hill, Malik McDowell. There are some guys that were early draft picks that Cleveland picked up trying to workshop a little bit. So Malik McDowell played well, and then he went butt naked, I think, in a Chuck E. Cheese in Florida.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. It was a scene. He got arrested, and he has not played in the NFL since. So that was something, 3 summers ago or something.
I wanted him to be so good. I actually, when he fell to Seattle in that draft, I was like, we just got the best defensive tackle in the NFL, and then now he's naked in a Chuck E. Cheese.
Kenneth Murray, former first-round pick by the Chargers, he's off to Tennessee as the Titans look to kind of rebuild that linebacker core after losing Azeez Al-Shahir to the Texans. Sam Darnold. This just seems like it sounds like fun up until September.
Yeah.
I think you can sell
until
yourself
it gets on the field.
Until it happens. And then it's going to be an, oh no, this is not a good idea. Kind of gives me vibes of Mitch Trubisky when he did a rehab stint in Buffalo, and then he went to Pittsburgh to be the starter.
And it did not go well.
It didn't go well, and everyone just thinks Sam Darnold is better because he sat for a year in San Francisco.
I do think Sam Darnold is better than Mitch Trubisky. Is that a hot take?
I don't.
I like Sam Darnold. I'm a Darnold truther. I'm not.
I don't think they're very far apart, to be honest with you. I don't.
Maybe he comes back to Ohio in the future.
Damian Lewis, he's off to Carolina, 4-year, $53 million contract. Brandon McManus, kicker signing for the Commanders. Chase Edmonds, he goes to the Buccaneers. And then we had Jalen Reagor, which is staying in New England.
Horrible.
Yeah.
He was in New England?
I think he was in New England last.
Oh, boy.
I think he went from the Eagles to the Vikings. Oh, no.
He was on the Eagles.
Well, Eagles to the Vikings. I can't remember if he was on the Vikings.
I
thought he went to the Patriots.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe I'm making that up. I think I am making that up. Taki, by the way, back-to-back signings. Hicks, 2-year, $8 million. Taki, 2-year, $6.5. So Browns paid.
About that.
Dude, I like Taki.
Good name.
I thought he could have. Yeah, really cool name. One of the few remaining starters from the 2020 playoff win. The Browns, the last time they won a playoff game against the Steelers in the COVID year, the 22 starters on offense and defense are almost all gone.
Wow.
You've got Jed Wills, Joel Petonio, Wyatt Teller,
Jack Conklin. He's gone.
Jack Conklin.
Yeah.
He's still there.
Nick
Chubb. Every wide receiver's gone.
Every wide receiver's gone. Got it.
Miles Garrett.
Yeah.
Denzel Ward. And I'm not counting because I can't remember who's on COVID or not that game.
Martin Emerson, no?
No, he came later. Taki. Dude, there's
8 players on the team.
Think it's 8.
3 years.
Yeah.
3 years ago. Kind of
4.
wild.
Yeah, 4 years.
That's
I think
4
for any
years.
team, how many starters do you retain after 4 years?
I don't think it's many.
Yeah.
Starters? I don't even. Well, think about it. I couldn't even name rotation guys that are still on the team.
Did I forget someone? Someone tell me in the chat. I don't think I did.
Forget. Oh.
Delpit, Thornhill, they're new. Emerson, Newsome, they're new. Dalvin Tomlinson, all those guys are new. I don't think J.C. Treader's gone.
Hurst and Elliott.
No. Yeah. It's almost a brand new team.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
From the last time they made the playoffs.
I said Garrett. I said Ward.
Pittsburgh did sign Patrick Queen, Rob Watson.
Yep.
For 3 years, $41 million.
All right, so more free agent signings. These happened later last night. Leonard Williams, he's staying in Seattle on a pretty big deal. 3 years, $64 million.
Market rate.
We'll let Sam know. Forgetting the dollar sign in that one.
Yep, definitely let him know.
No, like Slack, I'm saying.
Yep.
Jacoby Brissett, 1 year, $8 million. Aaron Brewer, the center, to the Dolphins, 3 year, $21. I think I got one. Oh, David Njoku. That was stupid of me. I didn't even think of the tight end.
He wasn't productive back then.
I didn't even think of the tight end. I just skipped that position altogether. That was dumb.
Noah Fant also returned to my Seahawks.
Yep. Ronald Darby. He goes to the Jags on a 2-year deal. Aziz Al-Shahir. Noah Fant. I think Noah Fant sucks.
You're not a fan.
No, I don't understand why he's getting more than $10 million. Does he even have 10
12th highest paid?
He does not have 10 career touchdowns.
I don't think he does.
No. I'm going to guess. You look it up. Noah Fant.
How many touchdowns do you think he had last year?
He's played 5 years in the NFL?
I think so.
I bet he's got eight touchdowns. I bet he has 8 touchdowns.
We'll check.
Yeah.
We'll check.
Noah Fant, career touchdowns.
Career touchdowns. Here we go. We got 14.
Whoa.
We'll take it.
Personal shot at him.
How many did he have last year?
2. 0. Oh my God. He has 14. He didn't even have one last.
He had 0 touchdowns. No, I was a little odd, weirded out by the money because I was like, guys scored 0 touchdowns last year and we're giving him $10.5 million.
Hot NFL take for this next one on screen. I don't think Brian Burns is worth all that.
If he goes to New York and wears number 0 as a pass rusher, I promise you he will stink.
What is the overall infatuation with Brian Burns to the level of him being a $30 million edge rusher?
30 million, at least 25.
He's had 5 seasons in the NFL,
25.
and he's got 1 season with 10 or more sacks.
And
it just doesn't really add up, right?
He only had 8 sacks last year. But, I mean, listen, he's been the product.
I know that, and hey, I know sacks are not the
really
only
bad
way, but usually $30 million, you're actually going to get to the quarterback as well.
Yes. But, he's been on some bad Panther teams.
I know, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I want to see Brian Burns.
He entered the league in what year? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2019?
Yeah, do you want to know what Brian Burns' record is in the NFL?
No, what?
Well, I just want to. I want to see how bad his teams have been on Carolina.
Okay, here's my point. Brian Burns, since coming into the league, he has played 80 games. Okay? He's 12th in sacks since 2019.
And that's $30 million?
And that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I just don't quite see the dollars and the production lining up.
Okay.
He's behind Matthew Judon in sacks, Daniil Hunter, Khalil Mack. These are good guys. But he's played 80 games.
The huge thing is he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
He hasn't missed the game.
He's got 1.5 sacks fewer than Matthew Judon. He's also played 12 more games than him.
Yeah.
Again, there's more ways to evaluate an edge rusher than sacks. I do feel like if you're getting a guy $30 million, though, that's got to be something that there's a little bit more production at.
Mm-hmm. So the Panthers, since Brian Burns entered the league, are 24 and 59.
Oh, that's sad.
That's really bad. So he's been some really bad teams.
That's really sad. I wish.
And the Giants are gonna be horrific this year. By the way.
I wish the Browns could have gotten Austin Eckler, but not at that price. I was thinking a 1 year, $4 million to $5 million contract. Because I was going under. Well, last year, what you saw, guys
really
like David
washed?
Montgomery, he was really washed last year. And
I didn't watch that much Chargers last year.
I think he's better than Nyheim Hines, though. I think the dollars represent that.
Yeah. I mean, he gets $2 million more than Nyheim Hines. Mm-hmm. I think he's deserving of that.
Other ones, Jordan Brooks. Ooh, my favorite player, Jawan Jennings.
He's tough.
I'm glad he's staying in San Francisco. I think he's awesome on third down.
Yeah.
Carlton Davis got traded from the Buccaneers to the Lions. That was a big need. And for those of you that wanted to trade Greg Newsome to Detroit, not happening anymore. At least not to the Lions. And then we kind of go catch up a little bit more. Mac Wilson, Maurice Hurst. This is yesterday. Marcus Davenport.
It's a good one for the Lions.
How's Marcus Davenport getting a $10 million? What has Marcus Davenport done for anyone?
He's just a name where I'm like, oh, Marcus Davenport. He's probably solid, right?
I don't think I don't think he's played a full season in his NFL career.
He had 2 sacks. He played 4 games last year, 2 sacks.
How does that translate to $10 million?
Because you're signing him. If you're signing a 1-year deal, you're basically signing him based on the season that he had last year.
Well, what they're all signing him on is in 2021, he had 9 sacks in 11 games.
Okay,
so if you expand that over a 17-game season, that's a 13-ish sack guy.
Thank you, TikTok fantasy footballer.
Yeah.
That's what
I got. But still.
All right, couple big names here, actually. Leonard Floyd.
I think Floyd's really good. I think it's a good addition by the 49ers. Chidobe Awuzie, he follows Brian Callahan down to Tennessee. Frankie Louvu, he leaves the Panthers, because why wouldn't you, for the Commanders. Other ones, how about Gardner Minshew going to the Raiders?
Listen,
2-year, $25 million.
I know the Raiders are probably going to target a quarterback in the draft this year, but say they get J.J. McCarthy, I have no problem. Gardner Minshew is the 33rd best quarterback in the NFL. And there's no debate. He could arguably be top 32. There's going to be a team next year that trots out a quarterback that is worse than Gardner Minshew. I think this is a fine deal. I think he's worth the money, and he proved it this season.
Yeah.
Devin Duvernay going to Duval County.
Let's see what else. Grover Stewart, he stays in Indianapolis. Geno Stone, I think this is a really good pickup by the Bengals. He was one of the best ball hawk safeties last year, and he didn't even start for the Ravens because they had Kyle Hamilton there.
I thought he could have been a good Quandre Diggs replacement for Seattle.
How about the Packers, by the way? They spent a
Hell
lot
of
of money.
Day for them.
This was yesterday. 4 years, $68 million. I think Xavier McKinney's a really good safety. It's just unlike Green Bay to spend big in free agency. That's not their thing. They never do.
No.
But maybe with kind of a new regime getting put in place there in the frozen tundra, they don't mind spending some of the money.
Big time contract here for a big boy.
Yeah. We had Robert Hunt. He goes from the Dolphins to headset's hurt my ear. To the Panthers, 5-year, $100 million contract. Don't quite understand the priorities Carolina currently has in place. Moving along a little bit more, Andrew Van Ginkel, he leaves the Dolphins to go up to Minnesota. Blake Cashman also returns home to Minnesota. And then I think the 2 biggest signings yesterday, back-to-back here, Kirk Cousins, 4-year, $180 million. I think he's still a really good quarterback. I think he's a top 10 quarterback when healthy and whatnot.
I agree.
So I think it's a good signing for Atlanta short term. The question is, can they do enough to maximize their roster for the short term? Because 4 years, I don't know if he sees all 4 years of that. I see $100 million guaranteed, and I see a 2-year, $100 million contract, $50 million a season. And if you want, you can get out of it after 2 seasons with maybe like $15 or so million in dead cap. Saquon. 3-year, $37 million to the rival Philadelphia Eagles. There are a lot of revenge games we need week 1. I need Eagles-Giants.
Yep.
I need Steelers-Broncos.
Yep.
I need Steelers-Ravens.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers have to do a doubleheader week 1.
I mean,
Sunday and Monday.
Are the Falcons on Minnesota's schedule next year?
No, I don't believe so.
Damn.
I don't know the Falcons played the Vikings last year. So the only way they would play them again this year is if they finish in the same spot in the standings.
Which did.
The Falcons finished 3rd in the NFC South, and the Vikings finished 2nd.
The Vikings
finished 2nd in the NFC North. It went Lions. Packers. Oh, no, Packers.
We're playing.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Playing.
You're right. I talked myself into it.
Hold on. Let me see. Falcons.
Yeah,
opponents.
they would. So we need that one week 1 as well.
We absolutely need that week 1.
We need, although maybe we should kind of space some of these out. Just to have some fun throughout the year.
We will see you in Minnesota.
Oh, return!
We will see you in Minnesota.
I love it. I love it.
That is electric.
So we got so many revenge games next year.
So many.
That's awesome. The Eagles, by the way, a little bit of a connection to the Browns here. They signed Bryce Huff. They gave him the biggest contract any UDFA has ever gotten, so that's super cool for him. But they are openly shopping an edge rusher. Montez Sweat, no, wrong Sweat. Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick. Cleveland traded for Za'Darius Smith last year. Would they go out and trade for another edge rusher? Maybe. I do feel like they don't need another one. You've got Garrett, Okoronkwo, and Smith. Definitely doesn't seem likely. But you can't put anything past Andrew Berry.
Yeah, can't put anything past Andrew Berry. What did you say about the first ever thing with Bryce Huff?
Largest contract given to a UDFA.
Oh, it was UDFA. Okay, very good for him. Very, very cool.
At least I saw that. And now that I say that out loud, Kurt Warner?
Wait, remember we looked up, Drew Brees didn't make any money. Remember?
I know, but what was Kurt Warner making then?
Kurt Warner had to get a fat deal from the Cardinals, right?
You got to look up Kurt Warner's contract history.
All right. Because this is going to be
What did he get from the Giants?
Oh, my God, the first Giants deal right after he won Super Bowls?
I'm guessing he was getting paid I think even for a quarterback back then, he was making I want to say he was making $15 million a season. What's the contract history for Kurt Warner?
He signed the original deal
with the Rams.
I think he got traded to the Giants.
Okay.
Because he signed a 7-year, $46 million deal. He was getting less than $7 million a season.
I said 15.
He was getting less than half of that.
Okay.
And I am Kurt Warner on Spotrac is ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah. So 2000 to 2006, he signed a 1-year, $3 million contract with the Giants.
And then with the Cardinals, 7 years.
3 years, $18 million. He is broke.
No, he's got. I can't stand that movie, American Underdog.
Oh, it's the worst movie I've ever
It's
seen.
pretty tough to watch.
2 years, $23 million. So he eventually crossed the $10 million mark in 2009, 2010, because he was nice enough to bring him to the Super Bowl.
Some more other contracts.
That's hilarious.
Jonah Jackson goes from the Lions to the Rams. Tyler Biadasz follows Dan Quinn to the Capital City. Christian Wilkins, hey, we talked about him for a while. What did I tell you guys? I just didn't see the Browns spending this much money on a defensive tackle.
Right.
Back-to-back offseason.
Is he a little overrated?
No, I don't think so. I'll tell you why.
That's not overpay?
I probably, when you...
He has $6 million more per than Leonard Williams.
Okay, so let's put it this way. By overpay, do you mean if we take their total contract, $110 million, and divide it by the number of sacks he gets in 4 years?
Uh-huh.
And let's say he averages a quarter of a sack.
Is
that an overpay if another guy gets half a sack for less money? You know what I mean? Like pound for pound. Is he ever going to live up to $110 million? Unlikely, because no one really ever does outside of Patrick Mahomes and quarterbacks.
But are the Raiders even going to be competitive by the time that contract's over? Probably not.
I remember saying on our Chat Sports Live coverage, I was like, I know the Browns fans are looking to add Christian Wilkins. If the Browns offer him $115 million and say the Raiders, I literally just use that as an example, give him $110.
Oh, really?
Who's he taking? Raiders $110 or Cleveland for $115? Unfortunately,
you're gonna go live in Vegas
it's tough to compete with Las Vegas and Miami and LA. That's just a sad fact that teams like Green Bay, Cleveland, Buffalo, Minnesota, those are markets that just don't really lure a ton of free agents in.
Even Seattle doesn't really lure. And I know it's not crazy cold weather, but it's just so
far
out of the way of everything that it just doesn't really attract free agents.
So I'm not surprised that he went to the Raiders. I think it's a massive overpay right here. Lloyd Cushenberry for the Broncos for the last 4 years. Good in 2023. Really bad the first 3 years, and Tennessee decides to make him the highest paid center in NFL history in free agency. That sounds like a bad idea.
He's just not that good.
He was 10th out of 36 qualifying centers last year.
And now he's the highest paid center ever.
He was fringe top 10.
He makes Kurt Warner look like
he's richer than Kurt freaking Warner.
He's getting more than Kurt Warner ever got.
Dorrance Armstrong, another Cowboy to the Commanders. Moving along here, Tony Pollard. I wanted him for the Browns potentially. He got a 3-year, not for $8 million a season. I was hoping a 1-year, $6 million contract.
Yeah.
Just not in the cards for running backs this offseason. And then we get back to our first free agent signing, I would say, of the entire pool, which was DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift, yeah.
That's a real contract.
A non-cut free agent.
And not like a true free agent leaving one team to another team. Mm-hmm. Another guy I also like for Cleveland, but not at $8 million. Jonathan Grenard, nice contract for him after a 12-sack year in Houston. The Texans, by the way, have been kind of gutted from some of their key players. Jonathan Grenard leaving, Devin Singletary, and they replaced it with Joe Mixon. And then another guy that we loosely talked about, wide receiver, Michael Pittman Jr. He got a 3-year contract extension with the Colts, $70 million.
He deserves that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's all that, but that's somewhat the nature of free agency, where you tend to overpay. That's just how it works. All right. Let's just run through the Browns free agent signings now. We also did have a super chat come in from Jeremy Stallman. So I'll put that on screen next here because I feel like I've made Jeremy wait far too long. Jeremy.
And shout out to you, man. You mentioned it.
Smitty, here's to you. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
It's all for you, buddy.
Thank you.
Look at him. You're making him smile.
Make me smile. Make me laugh.
He's blushing right now.
Listen, I might have to become a permanent fixture on the Browns report if you guys are going to treat me so nice. Seahawks today did not treat me very well yesterday. I was getting eaten alive.
Jeremy, thank you for your super chat, man, and all of your kind words every single time. If you want to get on screen like Jeremy Stallman, you're more than welcome to super chat. We'll toss it on for everyone to see your question, your take, your opinion, whatever it may be. So let's kind of recap everyone and what the Browns have done so far through 2 days of free agency. Prior to free agency kicking off, they traded for Jerry Jeudy. That's a trade I like. Didn't cost you a whole lot draft compensation-wise. You did spend $13 million in cap space on him, so that definitely takes a little bit away from your free agency spending power. But Jerry Jeudy for a 5th and a 6th and $13 million, or Darnell Mooney for $39 million. Absolutely. I would take Jerry Jeudy for a 5th and a 6th and $13 million.
100% you take Jerry Jeudy.
So
every single time.
You could do, again, would you rather have Jerry Jeudy for a 5th and a 6th and $13 million, or Gabe Davis for $39 million?
I mean,
like, this is a legitimate pros and cons kind of thing.
Jerry Jeudy, as far as a talent goes, is miles ahead of both of those guys.
Yeah. The thing that I kind of get sometimes annoyed by is people go, well, I'd rather have this guy over that guy. Like, I'd rather have, let's just use this case here, like Jerry Jeudy over Gabe Davis because we're saving money. Cool. Do you plan to spend the money you save, or are you just saving the owner's money? Because I don't give a fuck about Jimmy Haslam's money.
No.
So spend it. If you're not going to spend it on Gabe Davis, you better spend it somewhere else. Za'Darius Smith, 2-year contract. Like, I think that's where that money went. Like, you didn't spend it on Gabe Davis, $39 million. So you took 13 for Jerry Jeudy, 24 for Za'Darius Smith. That's $37 million.
And keep in mind, that's a premium position.
Yeah. Like, you could make a good argument. It's Gabe Davis or Jeudy and Smith. I'll take Jeudy and Smith.
That's not a question.
Yeah. Maurice Hurst back on a 1-year, $3.2 million. Jordan Hicks takes over at middle linebacker on a 2-year contract. Let's talk about Jameis for more than just 5 seconds.
Sure.
Little bit confused.
All right, odds he plays a snap.
I think he'll play a snap. I would love to know how many backup quarterbacks don't take a snap.
That's true. All right, odds he plays.
Odds he plays a quarter.
Yeah.
Like what if Deshaun Watson, helmet came off? Like, that kind of stuff does happen.
That's a play.
Right.
And they're gonna hand it off.
But plays a quarter, I think it's got some legs to it.
Yeah, I mean,
half of the quarterbacks missed time last year.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, last year was a disaster.
Heads or tails.
It was, yeah, and the Browns hit tails 5 times.
Yeah. What happened to Joe Flacco? And I asked this because the Browns sounded like they wanted to bring back Joe. Joe sounded like he wanted to come back as long as he couldn't find a starting job elsewhere. The Patriots signed Jacoby Brissett. So it kind of lined up perfectly for Joe Flacco to return. He's still on the market, and Cleveland with Jameis Winston. What am I missing? What happened? Were they never serious about Joe Flacco? Did Joe Flacco want to wait and see if he could get a better contract, or not even a better contract, but a contract with a team with a much more open battle for the quarterback position? And the Browns didn't want to wait and see, lose Jameis to like the Broncos, for example, and then Joe Flacco finds another team, and all of a sudden Cleveland has no backup quarterback of their preference. Or were they just never serious about Joe Flacco? I really do want to know. And I don't know. Like, I could make guesses. You can make guesses. But I want to know. Did news happen?
I'm kind of underside of like Deshaun Watson. Maybe Deshaun Watson kind of stepped in and was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with this.
And that's kind of the third prong I mentioned of like, the Browns say in the press conference after the year, we love Joe. We love to have Joe back because it'd be very awkward after the way he helped that team out.
To be like,
the first time they speak to the media.
Best wishes, Joe.
Yeah, like playoff loss on Saturday, presser on Monday. We have no intention of bringing Joe Flacco back.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound a great message.
No.
So were they lying through their teeth and actually had no internal belief of bringing him back because they didn't want the awkward possibility of Watson not having a great game, good half, good game or two, which he hasn't been able to stay consistent through 2 years in Cleveland, whether it's just like injuries or just not playing well. And they didn't want to face the noise of people going, play Flacco, play Flacco. So they just removed that option altogether by just not bringing back Joe.
Yeah, I mean.
Really want to know which one it was. Very curious.
But I like Jameis, man. I think
Jameis is hysterical. This is going to be so funny.
Jameis in Cleveland, though. I mean, like, what kind
He's going to be up to no good.
What kind of hijinks is he going to get into up there?
Yeah. I'm a little surprised he kind of agreed to go to Cleveland. I guess the money talked a lot. And I only say that because he's from Alabama. He went to the Panhandle, Florida State. Then he went down to Tampa. Then he went to Atlanta. I beg your pardon, New Orleans. Like, you can kind of make a triangle of Jameis Winston, high school, college. I guess more of like a, not a triangle, but
like a
what's it called? An uneven square?
Trapezoid? Rhombus, maybe?
No, not a rhombus. Whatever. A square, not a rectangle. I don't know what it is.
It could be like a trapezoid of some
I like trapezoid. That sounds right.
Wait, yeah. If it's like
when you make like a
Alabama, New Orleans, Florida State, Tampa. Ooh, that's like I don't even know what that is.
Well, anyway, that's not a very big surface of like a square mileage.
Not a lot of square. No.
So for him to go all the way to Cleveland, he's been very honest about how much he likes playing near home.
He's going to see snow for the first time and just freak out.
He may not have ever played a snow game. Think about it. Play with the Bucks and you play with the Saints. Usually the last game of the season is a division game. Whether that's home or away in the NFC South, there's no snow.
So he's probably never played a snow game.
Maybe week 17 or week 16, he could have played in Chicago, in Cleveland, in Cincinnati. I need to look this up. Has Jameis ever seen snow? I'm being serious. He does not give me I go on ski trip vibes.
I don't think he's ever put on a pair of skis.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes. I'm going to see if there's any pictures.
No, not in 2015, his rookie year. Not in 2016. In 2017, he played at Green Bay on December 3rd, and the temperature that day was 42 degrees.
That is fine.
Yep.
That's the warmest December day Green Bay's ever had.
He did play at Baltimore on December 16th in 2018. The weather that day, 43 degrees.
I mean, this guy has never been cold.
Okay. He did not play in snow at all in 2019. Not in 2020. Injured 2021. Didn't play 2022. Guys, I don't think Jameis has ever seen snow.
I don't think he's ever seen it once.
Oh, I'm nervous. The coldest game of his NFL career is 42 degrees.
Oh. Deshaun Watson, you better not go down in the winter.
This is something. Okay. We may have a problem.
We may have a problem.
We got to get Jameis up to Northeast Ohio winter speed.
We do. All right, last free agent signing, obviously, is Shelby Harris, and we'll fill that next little box right there if the Browns make another move.
It's empty because it wants a home.
It wants a home.
Who should fill that box?
Who should the Browns sign next?
Who should be in that box right there?
Who should fill the box?
Who should put the tip in this box right here?
Oh, that is
too obvious?
I liked it, though.
Who do you want the Browns to sign next? Let me know in the chat right now.
Who's filling the box?
Yeah. Who's filling the box?
Filling it up.
Debbie, buying some guys, I can't believe we just discovered this. Does Andrew Berry know this? And can they undo the contract?
I mean,
Dude, Jameis would not like coming
did
off.
they even think about it?
Could Jameis come off the bench in December if an injury popped up or, God forbid, something like that? No. Oh, I'm nervous. Okay. Who do you want the Browns to sign next? Jackson Green, Corey Bojorquez. Excellent decision and selection, Jackson. I agree with that thought.
Choice.
I don't think you're going to – although we did see a punter signing. The Colts re-signed their punter. So
yes.
I bet the Browns will re-sign Corey Bojorquez to a 2 to 3 year contract that pays him like $3 million a season. 3 year, $9 million.
Got a couple DJ Readers coming in.
I do like DJ Reader.
How much money is he going to command?
Well, I think he was one of the best defensive tackles in football last year, up until his torn quad in December.
Oh.
Now he's pushing 30 now. I still think he can get a 1 year, 2 year contract that pays him like $8 to $11 million. I thought it'd be more, but I guess not, given how much of the money's already been spent.
I was going to say a lot of money's already been thrown around.
I would like Pebby. I agree. $10 million would make sense, but like, as the days go on, the money starts drying up a little bit. I'd be very on board with DJ Reader, but I just don't think Cleveland's going to sign 3 defensive tackles. They signed 2 already. I think that's probably all the signings they have at that position.
What about Arik Armstead? Is he going to get money?
I think he'll get a 1 year prove-it deal.
Uh-huh.
I think he'll get a 1 year, $11 million contract.
Okay, that's fair.
By the Indianapolis Colts. No, they re-signed Grover Stewart. I don't know where. Cardinals. With
Come up
Neil
to
Hunter.
Seattle.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if we get another super chat, we can stay live. Otherwise, there are a lot of other channels trying to get studio space here to film content, and we're somewhat hogging Studio F right now. So if we get some more super chats, we can keep the show going. We're at $83. If we get up to $100, maybe a nice little send-off here. Maybe a bit of a here's what we'll do.
That'd be great.
150 be your shotgun race to send us off into the sunset.
I would do it.
Deal?
Yeah.
Game on.
You get a 50.
We get a 50. 50 piecer. There's a 50 piecer.
Shotgun race.
Yeah. Let's see what the chat's saying. Sam, who says we can't? Okay. I love when I join the chat and there's like a conversation going back and forth between people.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what they're talking about at that stage anymore.
Yep.
Greasy Flight with a $5 super chat.
Oh, he wants to get it started.
Dude, we're 45 away now. Group effort. Chipping away, baby.
Chip it away.
Greasy Flight with another 5-piecer. Is he going to do just 10 fives?
I mean, you could get it done.
That would do it. That's quite the way to get it done. I think he might have hit send twice. I feel bad if that was the case.
Oh. We're gonna heart them both.
But we're $40 away now. Greasy Flight, thank you so much. I really appreciate all of your generous contributions and support here at the channel. Longtime viewer from Canada, one of our Canadian residents.
Yes, and absolute aficionado on World War II.
Yeah, me and Greasy Flight, if we ever bump into each other, we've got some easy conversations
You better
to have.
find somewhere to sit down.
Oh, we're going to have a sit down for sure. Right. I would like I mean, humble brag, true story, I was recognized at the airport when I went to the bachelor party.
Oh, my God.
Like 3 weeks ago. Guy came up to me. He's like, Chat Sports. I was like, yeah. He's like, Browns. I was like, that's me. It was really cool. I shook his hand, said thank you for watching.
Was it one of the coolest things
Oh,
ever?
I mean, are you kidding me? I was on cloud 9 for the whole flight.
Of course you were.
It was like the opposite of the Dane Cook skit.
Oh,
of
yeah,
someone
yeah.
coming up to you like, don't get on the plane. Like, that was the exact opposite. So, if that guy's watching right now, I can't tell you enough how much you made my day.
Respect.
Scorpion the $5. We're 35 away right now from reaching 50 for the shotgun race.
Beer shotgun race.
Let's get DJ Reader. This chat might get it done. I wish we could send the super chats to the Browns cap space.
Yeah, right?
Ooh, question.
Open more cap space.
If fans could spend money to open up cap space for their team, how much would you comfortably send in to the team?
At least $100.
Dude, I'd be.
At least $100.
I don't want to bail out rich people from spending their money by making me spend it,
I want to win a Super Bowl.
but I'd send in some money. money.
I'd say. Do you think there's like what schools have nowadays, especially mid-major schools, is like NIL funds you can donate to.
Yeah.
And they'll give you like certain perks based on how much you donate. Do you think if there was a perk where you donated a certain amount and you got a ring if they won a Super Bowl?
Yeah, that'd be a big check I write.
I would be writing a check.
I would happily write that check. Scorpion, $5 super chat. Let's get DJ Reader. Andrew, I know you're watching. Okay.
Uh-oh,
Debbie, hashtag Browns PD, true trivia. What was Myles Garrett's high school GPA and most sacks in the game? Off-season trivia will be his most sacks in the game and for the season. Mine 4 and record breaker 24.
24 sacks?
That would break what's his face from the Giants with the break in his teeth?
Strahan.
Michael Strahan's record, thank you. Which was the softest way he got the record, the way he just tapped. I think it was Brett Favre.
Oh, is that what happened? It was he was already on the ground.
Yeah, he was on the ground, he tapped him.
That sucks. I should rescind that.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Okay, what was Myles Garrett's high school GPA? He's a smart guy.
I'd say he is a pretty smart guy.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of interest like outside of football.
Give me a 3.4.
The thing with high school GPAs is some high schools are so much easier than other high schools, like the classes.
Yes.
I'll say he's from Arlington, Texas, right down the road from us here. I'll say he got like a 3.7.
Okay.
And most sacks in the game.
Give me 5.
Give me a 6-sack game.
I was gonna say.
He was a big time recruit for A&M.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
3.7 and 6 sacks.
Myles Garrett has always been that dude.
Debbie, I hope you have the answers. Otherwise, I'm a little curious how you can find his high school GPA.
Is it on Max Preps?
I don't think so. James Miro, $10 super chat. Let's go, James.
Now we're getting real close.
Winston is roughly 340% better than DTR and PJ Walker.
I like that.
Jameis Winston, JJ. Who do you think JJ is? JJ McCarthy? No, I think he means Jameis Winston.
Justin Jefferson.
Oh, okay. Okay, Justin Jefferson has the talent. Jerry Jeudy.
Oh.
Jerry Jeudy has the talent potential to be a top 10 receiver. All in all, not a bad offseason so far. Let's effing go. I agree. Like, again, Browns fans need to lower their sights for what they spend in free agency. That's never how they have acquired much of their talent. Watson, Cooper, Za'Darius Smith, all trades. I'm not surprised at all. The biggest move they made was a trade. James, thank you so much for the super chat. I do agree Jameis Winston is better than Dorian Thompson-Robinson and PJ Walker. I think the plan is for DTR to be the QB3 this year, and they'll figure out after a second season if he can truly morph into a backup quarterback by year 3. And if not, then it's a missed 5th-round pick. Okay, that happens. Yeah. James, thank you so much yet again. And, yeah, I don't know if I'll say Jerry Jeudy can be a top 10 receiver. He doesn't run block much. He had some concentration issues earlier on in his career, but he's kind of pushed that to the side. I think he still has some great yards after the catch ability, and he's got the quickness off the snap.
Oh, we are cooking with gas now. You guys really must want to see.
Are we at 50 now? That's 15.
That's 15.
We had
10 more.
Okay, yeah. Greasy Flight and Scorpion got us 15, then 25 from James. Then Ben Broski got us 30, and now Michael Warnecki got us 40. Ben Broski got us 30, and Michael Warnecki got us 40. Ben Broski, first off, Michael, thank you for your super chat. What did Ben say? We skipped past Ben, I think. We skipped Ben Broski.
Yeah, we went to it, but then we went,
What's up, Pete? I can't wait to see what this season brings. Go Browns. Ben, I echo your thoughts. There's always a few teams that regress after a season, and there's teams that make the playoffs that missed it last year. That's kind of the beauty of the NFL. You sure hope the Browns aren't one of those regress candidates, but I could see them having some of the luck that they had last year in terms of like the defense just really finding its stride. Like it's just hard to find consistent defense year in and year out. But on the other side, they're going to get healthy. And they went through hell last year and still won 11 games. Should be a lot easier with all their guys back. And on the other flip side, they play a much tougher schedule. They go from a 4th-place schedule to a 2nd-place schedule. So they're going to be playing some really good teams, including the Chiefs next season and the Cowboys. So, there it is. Let's go! Here
Let's get
comes
it going.
trouble. It's three guys walk into a bar. Michael Warnecki, Rick Atkins, and then we've got Greasy Flight. Let's go.
Let's keep it going.
Love it, Greasy Flight. Rick Atkins, do we go after linebacker in the draft? Rick, my number one target for the Browns right now is Edrin Cooper, linebacker, Texas A&M at pick number 54. If that happens, you're going to see me happier than maybe I've ever been on this channel, because it's not about me thinking he's going to be a Hall of Fame guy. It's just predicting the 54th overall pick correctly may be the apex of my Cleveland Browns report career.
Oh, I mean, that's like picking the card correctly.
Mm-hmm.
1 in 52.
Jeremy Stallman, let's go! Rick, salute to you. Greasy Flight, shout out to you north of the border. And Jeremy, why keep the 20 spot going?
Wow.
This is a group of people that likes to have a good time on a
You guys just doubled
Tuesday.
our super chats in about 5 minutes.
I love it, boys and girls. Shop Fun Race.
Yeah.
Can you go get the required materials?
Yes.
Thank you. They know the Shop Fun, just get like them or bongers or something.
Okay. We'll do a beer bong race?
Yeah, two, ice cold. Oh, Debbie, Petey, GPA 4.04 and 4.5 sacks. Oh, I thought it was in a high school game. No. I thought it was a high school. I thought we were talking about high school still. Yes, I do remember the Bears game. Justin Fields was sacked a bazillion times. To everyone that super chatted, thank you so much. You guys are the best. You guys truly do make my day every single time we're able to hang out. We'll take our beer bong race. Ben Broski, get out of town! $20 super chat. What a day. Let's have ourselves a nice Tuesday. And we're $2 away from 200. Who wants to send a two-piece or get us to a nice even number like that? Kev, I think I am going to do that. It's just a little bit of laziness and me not being the greatest social media guy. But I do think that's something I should get on top of. Gerald Jack. Oh, we're talking military. I don't know what we're talking about right now. Military straight. Anyone notice that we got 3 former Vikings players on our defense? Jordan Hicks, Dalvin Tomlinson, and Za'Darius Smith. Could we have a better shot at Danielle Hunter? I think Danielle Hunter is going to want a big payday. Just something the Browns can't afford. I do like the train of thought, though. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's something that the Browns could maybe pull off, though. I do appreciate the thought, though. Ben Broski, $2 super chat. Let's rock and roll. Just the one, Murbanga? Oh, you want to do that? You want to do okay. I honestly respect it. Time Man's here! We got another $20 piece from Ben Broski. If you want to throw that on screen. Oh, these are cold. These just... Oh, boy. Good to see you, Time Man. I know we started earlier, but that was just a product of NFL free agency. We missed you, though. We did. We talked about you. We were like, we got you $200. Okay. We ready? I'm going to save half for later because I feel like there's going to be another 20 piece. Okay. Oh, yeah. Are you ready? Okay. I wonder if, Time Man, were you watching the main Chat Sports channel over us? I'm a little worried he might be cheating on me. Time Man, you're a man of many talents when it comes to watching YouTube. Are you ready, Kimosabi?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Cheers to the dog pound.
Cheers to the pound. Let's go, Brownies.
Oh. It's a bit cold. Yeah. Dude, that's colder than anything Jameis Winston has ever experienced in his life.
That is correct.
Oh. Oh, Nelly. Okay. Jeremy Stallman with a $2 super chat, followed by Jacob Kistner. Woo Peeble. What? Who Peeble? I don't know what this means. I don't know. Jacob might not be much, but some dude. Jacob Kistner here. I want to illustrate what Jacob Kistner just did. Every single kick return for a touchdown, there's a key block somewhere. Hester picks up a block. Cribbs gets a block on the sideline.
Davis, he's gonna
Sideline.
He's gonna go all the way.
That's Kistner's block.
Auburn's gonna win a football game.
That's Kistner's block right there.
Yeah,
and you know it
first of all,
because like
that block, he rocks the guy too.
it's the best block. It's real football fans might like that block more than the next 30 yards of the return.
Absolutely.
Yep,
The block is what makes the run.
without a doubt. That's Jacob Kistner. I fucking love him. Let's go. Let's go. That looks like a pee bowl that you just drank. Okay, I see now. It does kind of look like a potty training, like a, what's it called?
It's like a little like toilet. It just
Yeah,
looks like a little.
it's a merbonga is what it's called, where it's got like
It's
this mermaid.
It's the end of a mermaid. It's like a mermaid tail.
Yeah. Oh, I just kind of flashed everyone the merbonga.
Oh, is that what it is? It's the front.
This is the mermaid, like in the front of like a ship.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't quite understand why it does look like an old person's bathroom.
Yeah, it looks like you're disposing of some dumps in there.
It does. It looks like I'm teaching my child how to go to the bathroom. James Miro with a 5-piecer. I forgot about Nyheim Hines. It looks like we finally got a halfway decent kick returner. Is he a speedster? I think I remember him being pretty good. He does have some special teams abilities to him. He had the kickoff return for a touchdown in the Bills-Patriots playoff game when Buffalo scored every single drive.
Yeah, they didn't punt.
Yeah, they never punted once. What the question is he missed all of last year with a boating accident. Like, I think it was a jet ski collision, and that sucks.
It was a jet ski collision. My friends were very upset up in Buffalo.
I have no idea how to evaluate whether or not that means you are going to be able to make a full recovery or not. Like when it's like a non-football injury.
Achilles.
Dude, I think it was.
It was like right. I feel like it was Achilles for some reason.
I don't think he popped his Achilles.
In what way would he ruptured it? Like he completely the jet ski smashed into it.
That does sound correct.
Let me find the official.
I feel like I'm having deja vu to another jet ski injury.
I think there's been multiple jet ski.
Who else had a jet ski injury? Yeah, why do I feel like this is not the only person?
It was ACL.
This is knee.
Hit by someone operating. Oh, I remember he was stationary and somebody was coming at him and they hit him. Yeah, that can't feel good. I mean, if you're only tearing your ACL, you're kind of lucky.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt.
He says he plans to pursue legal action against those.
I remember that. Okay. If we get another super chat, we can keep the show going. Otherwise, I think we do have to sign off. But it has been a blast hanging out with you guys. The big takeaways here are, if you haven't subscribed yet, we'll throw my Twitter at the bottom as well.
Absolutely.
So if you want more Browns coverage, feel free to hit me up on Twitter or I guess they call it X, at Matthew Petey. And we're at 33,629. 100 of you watching at the moment. I just need one of you who are not subscribed to go ahead and do so that we can get to 33,630. That's a much cooler number.
Yeah, we gotta get to even number there.
Oh, Jeremy Stallman and Michael Warnecki with some supers. Let's go, boys.
They want to get back in the mold. They want to keep the chop going. This has been a good chop. Jeremy, what's going on, my friend?
Jeremy Stallman, for the record, I am a free agent. Jeremy, I think I'd give Jeremy Stallman 4-year, $100 million.
4-year, $100 million?
I think I'd give Jeremy that.
70 guaranteed, 66 guaranteed, some of the sorts. Cheers to y'all.
Woo!
And then Michael Warnecki.
$10 super chat from Warnecki. Salute. Thank you so much. Always supporting us here at the channel. Michael Warnecki. I'll tell you who Michael Warnecki is. Michael Warnecki is a blocking tight end that once in a while finds himself wide open in the end zone, unguarded. And you're curious where the play is going to go. And the camera hasn't panned over to the other side of the end zone.
The cameraman gets got.
And the cameraman gets got, and the quarterback flings it, and it's like, oh, there's no one even in the same zip code as him.
Yeah, nobody.
That's Michael Warnecki.
I like that.
That's Michael Warnecki.
In the shadows.
Yep. No doubt about it. All right, boys and girls. Another super chat, too. We'll keep the show going here. Kind of want to finish this beer, so every single super chat, I'm just going to add a little bit more to this Merbonga.
And let's get that one more subscriber before we get
we got to get one more subscriber. I know I'm asking a lot. I'm being very needy right now.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate it. We work hard here. I dragged Smitty out of bed as the sun came up this morning. So that
You literally dragged me out of bed.
Yeah. I
Showed up at my doorstep.
parked outside. Get your ass out of bed. Let's go.
I thought I was going to be late, to be honest. But then it turns out we were right on the same schedule.
We were ready. Let's just run through the free agent signings so far. Any new ones came in?
Couple of real mid ones.
Very recent ones.
We got we can find here. We got
Texans traded a 7th rounder, by the way, for Joe Mixon.
7th rounder.
Yeah, the
Wow.
Bengals were happy to get something.
It's just so crazy what fantasy football players can go and get in return for themselves.
Ty Man, the Buckeye being shouted out in Jeremy Stallman's super chat here.
Jeremy
Chase
Stone.
Young to visit Panthers and Saints.
Man,
Oh, and Titans.
Ooh, okay. I mean, listen, there should be nobody that unless you're Robert Hunt getting $100 million, there should be no reason you want to go to Carolina.
No. I feel
And
like
we
the
got
Saints.
it. Look at that.
And there we go.
We did get some new free agency signings, so we can go over
Here,
those.
Jeremy, you throw Jeremy super chat on screen?
I did.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I can quick go back.
No, I buy you. That's fine. Yeah, Joe Mixon to the Texans officially.
Time in.
Oh, we do have some news 6 minutes ago. Browns news. Jordan Elliott, 2-year, $10 million contract to the 49ers. Did I not call that or not?
Oh.
Jordan Elliott leaving the Browns to the San Francisco 49ers
Oh, that
on a
just happened.
2-year, $10 million contract. Happened 6 minutes ago from Ian Rappaport.
Here we go. That literally just updated in the tracker here.
Yeah. Was that not the exact amount I said?
Yeah.
I was like, you can get Maurice Hurst for 1 year, $3.4 million, and Shelby Harris for $4 million. Combine them,
For 7.
or you can pay Jordan Elliott 2 years, 10, and he's the worst of all three, and he got the most money.
Yeah. I mean, there's no offense.
Someone watching that's been watching for a while. I could be wrong, but I believe I literally call this to a T. Maurice Hurst got the least amount of money, and he's the best of all three. Shelby Harris is right in the middle, and Jordan Elliott is getting paid because of one good season, and he's the youngest and maybe just the most notable since Shelby Harris is over 30, and Maurice Hurst has kind of flown under the radar. But Jordan Elliott, round 3 pick, coming off a good season. 49ers, I wouldn't say overpay because $5 million is not a whole lot, but not a good player.
No, you were very vocal about him from even going back to
Dude,
the
are we
start
going to
of
forget
last-
that he sucked for the first 3 years? He was unplayable
Yeah,
in 2022.
I remember back last offseason, you were very vocal about how much he was not very good.
Greasy flight, let's go.
Greasy.
Oh, Colts are re-signing Kenny Moore.
Yep. I was gonna flip through some.
Yeah,
of these
flip through the
recent
ones at the
signings.
top. Greasy flight, how is Nick Chubb? Will he be the same? That's like $1 million question. And I don't use that term lightly. It literally is $1 million question. I don't know. I don't know when we'll know. That's kind of the other issue. Will it be soon when we get a better idea as to when he will return to the field? He definitely feels like he's a guy that could kick rehab's ass. He's like the strongest running back I know.
Yeah, he's very jacked.
He's unbelievably strong. So I wouldn't put it past him, but will he be the same? I don't know. I don't want to doubt Nick Chubb, but I don't have a great feeling. Greasy flight. Cheers now.
Cheers to Greasy. And then Kistner back with an absolute crackback block on the edge.
Are people aware if they like every offseason video, subscribe and comment, their perfect offseason is 99.98% chance of happening? Sub comment peeps. Fucking this guy.
I mean,
He's just
put
on
it
it.
on a billboard, Kistner.
God, he's on it.
Let's go. Josh Uche. I don't know.
Oh, man, they could have traded him for a lot more.
I know.
At one point.
$3 million.
Yeah. Jacob, I echo everything you say. Could not agree more, my friend. Could not agree more.
A'Shawn Robinson getting a 3-year, $22 million deal. So we just had him up on the our
Top 25.
Top 25 free agents.
Yep.
He's gone off the market now.
Indeed, he is.
Kayshawn Nixon.
Yep. Re-signing with the Packers. He was one of the more notable free agents still left.
Why don't we have a big picture of this guy? He stinks.
Devontae
Guy
Parker.
who stinks even
Oh,
more.
my God. He stole money.
This guy stinks.
Someone need to call.
Fully guaranteed.
Someone in Philly is calling 911. And they are reporting a theft of $4.69 million.
I actually thought he re-signed with the Patriots. I was like, what is their obsession with this guy? He stinks out loud.
These are some bad side.
This is
a bad one.
We've quickly gone from day one of electric free agency to day two. We're in the dog days of free agency
yes,
already.
we are.
Tyler Ott, Seahawk legend, 69, long snapper going to the
Nicholas
Commanders.
Morrow going to the Bills after going with the Raiders, the Bears, and then now most recently the Eagles.
Oh, my.
Jordan Elliott, 2-year, $10 million deal.
That's all we got so far.
I thought he was the worst of all three, and he got the most amount of money. I think the Browns made a good decision passing on Elliott and going with Hurst and Shelby Harris. Jeremy Stallman, $10 super chat. I am ready to run one back. More Mbonga. Cheers to Jeremy.
One free agent. Okay.
Hey, $2 super chat from Gerald Jack.
Gerald Jack.
First time super chatter on this channel. Can we get a quick 2 clap in?
Sure.
You ready? 1, 2. Gerald, 1 free agent, 1 draft pick. PD must have in Cleveland. Okay. Let's assume it's guys that are not signed anymore.
Yes.
That sounds about fair.
Mm-hmm.
1 free agent remaining that I would like to see the Browns sign. I mean, it would be super fun to have DJ Reader. I wouldn't say no to that. I just don't think like it's going to happen, right? I do try to find a balance of what I want to happen
Versus what's realistic.
and what's realistic / prediction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Free agent though, I think they're pretty good. Linebacker would be the last spot. I would not be opposed to Levante David.
Jerome Baker, no?
Jerome Baker home return. Okay, fine. That could be fun too.
There's rumors going around with really no verifiable sources that they
Yeah.
have interest, that he's potentially meeting with them. I don't know.
Jerome Baker, right, from Cleveland, went to Ohio State. That could be a fun homecoming for him. Levante David, I just feel like
He's a veteran, man.
He's
He's
a
a guy
vet.
he's a guy who could lead a defense.
I would love him in the middle of the defense.
Captain of a
And
Super Bowl winning defense.
kick Jordan Hicks to outside linebacker. That'd be an awesome linebacker trio.
I agree.
And then draft pick. Well, if I'm going linebacker in free agency, then I can't only go Edgerrin Cooper.
No.
Actually, maybe I still go Edgerrin Cooper at linebacker, and he kind of redshirts this year.
Okay.
And he just takes over from Levante David or Jordan Hicks.
Do you think he's more of a raw talent? Like he's got some room to improve, or is he like?
I think he's got room to improve.
Sure, a lot of guys do. When
Yeah.
they get to the league, so.
That would be my dream right there.
Devin White still out there? Yeah, he might stink. There was a lot.
Oh, he was really bad last
There
year.
was a lot of hype around Devin White for a long time, and it was because he
Yep.
was playing next to Levante David. But it's the reason he's not signed yet. Even a guy like Patrick Queen, I'm very wary about how he does in Pittsburgh because he didn't come along until Roquan Smith came to Baltimore.
Yep.
Same with Jordan Brooks. His best season came when Bobby Wagner came back to Seattle. So these guys who haven't really manned a whole defense themselves yet, Levante David would probably be the best off-ball linebacker available.
I agree. All right. If we get another super chat, actually, I think we've had a good run. We're at 248.
we've had
Can
a
we
great
get $2 super chat to get to 250 for
Yeah.
my OCD ass? And then we'll empty out the Mbonga. We'll ride off into the sunset.
Hell yeah.
It was a very successful 2-hour show.
I think we had a great time.
Yeah.
We're over 2 hours and 15 minutes.
I love it.
Got a nice video out of it.
Yep. Thank you guys for tuning in. 108 people still hanging out with us right now. So everyone watching, you're awesome. I mean, it's free agency, so there's so much fun going on across the league right now. But to spend your time with us, I definitely appreciate it. It means a lot to me. To everyone that super chatted, Gerald Jack, Jeremy Stallman, Jacob Kistner, Greasy Flight, Michael Warnecki, and everyone else, Joshua Miller. Appreciate all of your super chats. Jeremy Stallman.
Oh,
Here comes the alley. There goes the Oop.
Up high, down hard.
$2 super chat from Jeremy. Let's call it a day, Mr. Stallman. What do you say?
Absolutely.
What do you say, kid?
Electric. And we
What do you
picked up
say?
A couple of subscribers as well. Shout out to all you guys. The Dog Pound. Making me feel welcome as well.
Showing up big time today. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to get on out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. And if we get more signings and more news, you know where to turn to. So subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter. I'll be sharing the information over there as well at Matthew Petey. Go Brownies. We'll see you later.